God damn, Gary. Some serious gourmet shit. What flavor is this?
That's right, it's the all-hell medium roast private blend.
Check out the Geek Grind Coffee Nerdrotic page for our other options like the Decadent, Feathers of Liberty, vanilla-infused flavored coffee.
Or if you're looking for something darker, try the Dark Roast FNT blend of the Fellowship. You know what? Just buy all three. GeekGrindCoffee.com. Use discount code Nerdrotic. Huzzah!
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Wait. I've got an idea.
My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
God darn it, Mr. Lamar. You use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
Nerdrotic.com.
Featuring Chris Gore.
Yeah.
It's springtime. I'm feeling a little pineapple pizza, a little baseball. Yeah, I'm ready for a nooner. Oh, yeah. That's right. Greetings, everyone. I haven't checked, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, chat, to the Nerdrotic Nooner. I haven't checked. Has Disney done something stupid today?
Well, it is a Tuesday. No, Wednesday. Sorry, I get my days. It's a Wednesday. Of course they did something stupid.
Yeah. Oh, they released the latest episode of The Mandalorian, and this is supposed to be the good episode.
Oh my God.
The Mandalorians are dumb. They are so dumb. And the padding, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We were just talking about it. We had to stop. We're like, save it for the show. Save it for the show. So let's get it going. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from nerdrotic.com and Nerdrotic on YouTube. And well, Nerdrotic's officially trademarked and all restricted and all that. But now Friday Night Tights is, ladies and gentlemen, it's official.
Yes.
I can put that little circle R right next to Friday Night Tights. Some people did try to nab it. They did, but I beat them to the punch. So W for me.
Sweet.
And everybody on the team, everybody, geeks and gamers, W for all of us. So Chris Gore, the amazing Chris Gore, you know, something big happened in your world recently. We got to see the trailer for Attack of the Duck. It was brilliant, dude. Well done.
Oh, thanks. Well, thank you. Yeah. The movie's very different from what you saw at San Diego Comic-Con. We were using that to get notes for how to tighten and cut, and we restructured the third act. I think it's a much better movie. So the trailer is basically the movie. You see the trailer, that's a tease of, I mean, the one thing that's kind of not in the trailer is there are deeper layers about nerd culture and how things have changed in the last 20 years, but it's not too heavy-handed. It's in there. But yeah, dude, I can't wait. A bunch of people going to the premiere on April 21st, Friday, at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. Then the movie comes out April 24th on video on demand, pre-order on Vimeo now. So there you go. And other platforms. It's coming to everything. It'll be on Vudu and all the VODs, wherever you get your VODs, so to speak.
All the VODs. Oh, and there will be Blu-rays too, right?
The Blu-rays will be coming in July. We'll have them at San Diego Comic-Con. So, and the Blu-ray is going to be like mic drop, just like everything. Like if you're a fan, it's just going to be the ultimate. We're like jamming the disc full, unedited interviews, like so much cool stuff. It's going to be a collector's item for sure. So
hell yes. And since we're talking about it, let's pull up the trailer. Have you done that yet?
Oh, really? Oh, okay, cool. You want to watch the trailer? All right.
I want to watch the trailer.
No, I can pull it up now. 1 second.
Could you whip it out?
Okay, cool.
I'm trying.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Okay.
Oh my God.
1 second.
I appreciate it, Gary. I appreciate it. Like
Dude,
the comments on the one thing that's been really good is reading the comments on the trailer itself. I cannot believe just the level of positivity and just like people kind of celebrating like the old G4. You know, you don't want to throw away your legacy. I think if modern incarnations of old IP have taught us anything, throwing away the legacy is a mistake. What you want to do is celebrate and respect the legacy.
Bad idea. Yeah. I as I said in my tweet, this show defined fandom in probably its greatest era when people could take a joke. And this show, I mean, outside of the comic books in my store, this show was the single most talked about thing. Like,
wow.
Did you see G4? Did you see Attack of the Show? We were always talking about it. So it defined nerd culture, fandom in an era that we've lost, unfortunately. And I think it's huge that this comes out now. I know you were I mean, like normal person would be concerned about the G4 that tried and failed. That was not G4. It never was G4. The G4 from before the Attack of the Show cannot be equaled. It was of its time. It was perfect for its time. It was ahead of its time, and it helped spawn so much of what we see on YouTube today. It's the major, if not the finite inspiration, the absolute inspiration for what's going on right now.
100%. I agree with that. I mean, just like also the one thing that like the show, like, look, I'm not a guy who ever had any formal TV training. I kind of learned on the fly, like just walk up to this piece of tape. If you have to read teleprompter, pretend you're just talking to someone. You're not actually reading anything. Those are about the two things you need to know to be on TV. Everything else you kind of learn on the fly, and it just, I can't not be myself. It was the first time I was actually allowed to kind of be myself on camera, because other TV I'd done previously, they tried to manufacture some image, which I was really uncomfortable with. But on G4, it's just like, I could wear whatever T-shirt, could say whatever the hell I want within reason. I even was like able to swear, and I would just mispronounce swear words. Like shathid. I said that a bunch of times. So I could get away with it. It was hilarious. I talked to the standards and practices guy. It's like, oh yeah, you could mispronounce a swear word. That it's not a swear word. Then, anyways, yeah, but dude, it's so great. Like, I mean, we met in like, I think it was 2010, at WonderCon. In the Bay Area. Was it 2010 or 2011? You were just there, and I got your T-shirt for Comic Outpost, man, and wore it on Attack.
So we traded the base for my. I had I've been trying to find one since. Oh shit! The Ninth Doctor just took a fall. No, I had a Muckle Superman and Batman. Right there, so they're mannequins. Muckle's a mannequin company, but they make these life size. And a guy sold them to me. They were broken, and then a guy who worked at a body shop fixed them for me. Right, so he fixed them, and they were on these bases. And the Superman was on a Superman S, and the Batman was on a Bat and you wanted that base. So and we traded it for you wearing the T-shirt on Attack of the Show, the Comic Outpost T-shirt. I thought that was a fair trade, by the way.
Dude, it's in my patio right now. My patio area is all Batman themed.
I love the patio.
Patio?
Yeah, the patio is awesome.
Look up, if you go to Instagram, look up #Batio. You'll see two things. One, there's a band called Batio. And two, you'll see pictures of Batio area if you look on Instagram. So it's weird. It's like
right now.
There's a band called Batio. What? All right, there you go. And you'll see pictures of my little, patio area.
I just want to point out to the chat. Yes, my phone is too loud, and you know who it is? It's the Modrotics chatting to each other in DMs. That's what
notifications.
That's what the notification.
All that
vibrating is the Modrotics chatting away.
You hear that, mods?
No, it's my fault. My phone should not be on the table. Okay, my bad. Totally my fault. I'm just kidding around. I love the Modrotics. So let's watch this trailer.
Cool, man.
If I were to just start apologizing for the things that we did wrong 10 years ago, this show would never end.
G4 was really one of the very last cable channels ever launched. It was the end of this linear cable era before we got to streaming and whatever it is we watch now.
Something unique, something different, something a little meta, something that was turn the mirror back onto pop culture and kind of spit in its face, but then wipe it off and give you a kiss at the same time.
He was a TV host who was also a production assistant on another show.
Oh, nice molester stash.
You do know who that is, right?
It's Shia LaBeouf, Transformer Kid.
No, it's you.
Friend sent me a series of VHS resume tapes. There was no one better than Whitney Cummings until Olivia Munn came on set.
Hello, Governor. I am Olivia Munn.
She delivered amazingly.
We dumped a bunch of snakes on her. Wow.
Was Olivia wearing the slave Leia at Comic-Con?
History in the making.
The floodgates that they were open.
Fans losing their minds.
We were being hounded.
It was also kind of subversive 4chan, dark comedy.
We did stuff that would not fly.
Go for power, girl. You're a whore. Also, more susceptible to getting AIDS.
And then from there, the wheels were off the bus.
You got another light bulb, right? I'll check out.
And it's on fire. The world has been waiting for a half Chinese, half American girl diving into a giant chocolate-filled cream pie.
I want knee jump.
And right before we went live, Kevin had just shown me 2 girls, 1 cup.
Sex with dragons is one of God's special mysteries.
I spent 8 years researching space dragon sex.
Mannequins.
Not all of those things that happened on the show
I don't swallow with Kevin.
would be acceptable by today's standards.
The infamous fat suit gag, one of our production management was going to walk.
I did a lot of on-camera drinking. Try a beer from every single
2.7. You should be dead.
People will look at a broadcast back then and think, ooh.
Oh my. Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Man, we did it once, but now no more. You can't do that no more.
Tell me that whole song made it in. That freaking looks awesome. I cannot wait to see that. So I could tell the quick story of I was with the director of, it was accidentally, we were sitting at the same panel, can't even remember what the panel is. And I was sitting next to the director of Fanboys and we were chit-chatting, and just through the conversation, he's like, I directed Fanboys. I'm like, oh, no shit. Cool. At the time, I don't think it was out yet. I think it was gonna be out or something. I can't remember. But so we're walking out of the con and we're like, hey, let's go get some lunch. So we're gonna go get some lunch. And right in front of us is Slave Leia. Is I'm blanking on her name now. Why am I blanking? On
Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn. Woo, getting old sucks. We're walking behind Olivia Munn's Slave Leia, and we're like deep in this conversation, and we both just like completely stopped, and then we're like, I forgot what we were talking about. And I still can't remember what we were talking about, but it was one of the greatest moments at Comic-Con ever.
Yeah,
so.
Kyle Newman is the director. I've interviewed him on when Film Threat was a lowly podcast before it was a YouTube stuff. But Kyle's great, and he is. I mean, he knows his Star Wars. But yeah, no, it's. I I just wanted to recapture this era to remind people. But there's the entire song. There's sort of like, there's a short version of You Can't Do That No More, but there's a long version that's played over the end credits that's pretty funny, has a couple more verses. And because the end credits are long, because I put all the names of every Kickstarter backer, every Patreon supporter, they're all listed in the final credits. And then there's an end credit scene that I'm pretty proud of that kind of is just like, well, there you go. That's it. So can't wait for people to see it. VOD. It's funny. April 24th is the 21st anniversary of the launch of G4 TV, which happened in 2002. So it's the 21st anniversary. The movie comes out on the same day. Can't wait for people to see it. It's kind of just to remind fandom, like, remember when we were all kind of united and we used to disagree about stuff, but didn't care about that so much? Like, dude, it's weird that people can't.
Well, so many of the youngsters now.
Yeah.
I love the favorite own to me on Twitter, which is, this man is 50 years old and he's still talking about it. So yeah, shithead. I remember when things were good.
Yeah. Also, half the fun is the debate. Like, Robert Meyer Burnett and I, have known each other since the 90s. The most fun is sitting around the hotel bar, because we were going to San Diego Comic-Con when like the gas lamp was dangerous. When it's like, yeah, I'm not going to venture past Spaghetti Factory. I'm just going to the old Spaghetti Factory, like anything past that was kind of sketch. Okay?
Really sketch.
Like, oh yeah, back then. I mean, it's since like now it's revitalized.
Well, yeah. No, it's regressed now. But when Horton Plaza went in, that's what like absolutely changed downtown San Diego from Market Street in San Francisco, because it was just all titty bars and porn arcades and hookers everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
I might have gone to some of those. So we would just hang out at the hotel bars, at the pool, and it was just, everyone would just talk. Like everyone, it was just like, you disagree with this person and there'd be this debate, and then we would just hang out. Like, it wasn't, I don't get this, I don't like you because you don't like a thing, or you pointed out something that, this is why I'm loving your videos, Gary. Your videos have been so on point. It doesn't surprise me that a bunch of your videos are getting north of 1 million views, because these are essays that are so well thought out with clips to prove your point. And I am looking forward. I hope you're working on it right now. Kathleen Kennedy has been caught in so many lies from the recent Star Wars celebration. I'm sure you saw that IGN footage of that woman. She's just asking like a very innocent question, like, hey, a bunch of projects didn't happen. The Kevin Feige thing she lied about. By the way, they announced 3 Star Wars movies at Celebration. Those were announced. Not a single one of those is greenlit.
Not a single one.
Not one.
Not a single one. There might be starting a script soon, and not to interrupt you, but I caught that quote. I caught that quote from Kathleen Kennedy right when it happened, because comicbook.com threw it up as a headline. Like, bullshit. I saw them talking about it. I like the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline were quoting people from Lucasfilm. And then Ryan put it on his video, which was great. They talked about it on the Star Wars show. They interviewed Kevin Feige. I mean, like, that's such bullshit. She is her and Jennifer Salk, 2 of the biggest incompetent liars in Hollywood right now.
Dude, please do a video where you get all this footage and all, because it's so important. I don't know that any of those 3 movies will happen. I think no one cares about the Rey movie. The only thing the James Mangold one is interesting to me, because the original, I interviewed Gary Kurtz years ago. The interview's on the Film Threat website. If you just look up Gary Kurtz's name, I asked him, what were the prequels supposed to be? And he said the original story of the prequels was to begin 25,000 years before the events of, Star Wars, A New Hope. And it was about the formation of the original Jedi Knights. It was going to be like a King Arthur type of tale of the formation of the original Jedi Knights. Then the second and third movie would have cut to more, the story of Anakin and Obi-Wan's friendship and the fall of Anakin Skywalker. So it just sounded much better. Like Gary Kurtz, he and Marsha Lucas were the 2 people that were the grounding force. As soon as as soon as Lucas, didn't have those two people around him, he just surrounded himself with yes men.
Yep.
Rick McCallum, it was awful. So
I met Rick McCallum.
But I mean, the thing is this
bad guy, just super douchey producer. Like he guy walks around with his collar up like this.
Yeah.
Like
you can smell the bad aftershave.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was on Tuesday night's main event last night, and Ryan Cannell brought up episode 2, Attack of the Clones. We were talking about it. Like, look, there are actually, if you go through the prequels, there are quotable lines. There are great moments. The best lightsaber duels have been in the prequels. Yes. There are redeemable things in the Star Wars prequels. You look, it is a sort of combination of this is awful, but then this is freaking epic and amazing. So it's very uneven. The prequels are uneven. If anything, George needed someone to kind of rein him in to make a solid movie out of it. But they're great. The sequels are not going to hold up. The Star Wars sequels are not going to age well. They haven't I don't think I've watched any of them since they came out. I saw Rise of Skywalker in the theater, and then that was it. But all I remember is everyone laughing at the end at how dumb it was, and people groaning when she says Rey Skywalker.
That was an audible groan. I was in APAC Theater in San Francisco.
You heard a groan?
With some audience members. It was fun, and there was a groan. I might have been one of them.
Yeah. What's so funny is I recently saw Titanic in a theater because they released a new. It looks great. It looks great.
When Leia does her Mary Poppins, there was audible laughter. It was holy shit. Because I heard it happen. I'm like, that cannot happen. It must make more sense in the movie. And people were just cracking up, and I was like, oh god,
oh my god. But
here we are.
This is a weird thing to point out. But so I watched Titanic in the theater. They did a re-release for the was it the 25th anniversary? 20th anniversary?
25.
I know, it's crazy. I think it's 25th anniversary. So I saw it in the theater, and it's a much better film than I remember. But what was funny was at the end of the movie, Kate Winslet's character, basically they ask her name, and she gives her name is Rose Dawson. She takes on the name of her lover for a couple of days on a ship, whatever. But I'm like, it just felt
that makes more sense than an old man that you beat and never really had any training. Like, when did Rey become a Jedi?
It just seems like, look, don't dead name Rey Palpatine.
Right.
This Rey movie is
Star Wars.
This Rey movie is going to be terrible. Nobody cares. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the only thing that might happen is the Dave Filoni movie that kind of ties up everything in the Star Wars show. This isn't the Mandalorian anymore. It's the Star Wars show. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Mando is not driving the story. It's not about him anymore.
He basically passed his dick over to Bo-Katan.
Oh, that's true.
And then became subservient to her. Like, straight up said, I'm serving you in this last episode.
Right.
Fuck. Disney just does the same thing. I mean, there's MCU, but let's be real. Star Wars was doing MCU before Marvel. And that's all it is. It's like shifting the power dynamic to, like, women have to be in charge with. I think who made the call to go to Mandalore? It was the armorer. Who's leading it? Bo-Katan. Who gets credit for leading it? Bo-Katan. Since when? It's like,
Mando is just there. He's just there.
Yeah.
And this stupid thing we haven't even gotten to, Baby Yoda, Grogu, going inside of a converted IG droid, IG-12, IG, whatever it is.
Dude.
I laughed. It was just so dumb. Yes, no.
Yes,
what is he like?
Yes.
It reminded me of Captain Pike from the original.
So, like, I thought we get some intelligence, but no, it was like a 2-year-old hitting a yes button over and over.
Yeah. And then breaking up that fight. No. It was just, I just had to laugh. There's going to be a 1/6 scale figure of the IG robot.
I'll miss it.
Grogu in it. Yeah, I'm not gonna indulge in that. But it just so much of it was dumb. I'm just laughing. Like, this is just the Star Wars show. It's all over the place. The thing is here's my theory as to why the ratings for season 3 are so bad. The story, Mando's story, Baby Yoda's story, Grogu. The story, the characters were wrapped up at the end of season 2. Whatever you think of that ending with Luke Skywalker, that was a good closing the book on that story. He completed his mission. He got Grogu to where he was supposed to be, and they had their moment. He took off the mask. They had a moment. His story is done. That's it. The story is to have him suddenly return, and he doesn't even want to tell the story to Grief Karga makes no sense to me. So and then it's like all over the map with stuff that it's like, are they just trying stuff out to see what sticks? I mean, I've always said like the Star Wars story is the story of Luke Skywalker. It's the adventures of Luke Skywalker from the Journal of the Wills.
Yes, it is.
To this day, never figured out what the Wills are. The one of the theories is the Wills are the name of Yoda's species. They are the Wills, kind of the shepherds of the galaxy's history. Just look, this is not a fact thing. These are things people have speculated, but I think the Filoni movie may happen.
For a long time, by the way.
Yeah. I think the Filoni movie may happen. It'll be on Disney Plus. It's not going to be in theaters.
Yeah.
You're committing for each of these movies, you're committing $500 million to make the movie, to promote the movie. And Kathleen Kennedy has proven to be very irresponsible with budgets. Look at Indy. Look at Indy 5. What is it? 350 now are the estimates.
Yeah, and in that IGN interview, when she got like a little flustered when the softball question of Kevin Feige came up, you can tell the criticism's getting to her. She's hearing it. Oh yes, she is hearing it. It's probably coming from the inside now because they need to Indy 500. Yeah, million chat. That's how much it's probably going to cost. Remember, massive reshoots don't get they aren't part of the original budget. And I got that like absolutely confirmed from somebody who's working. So yeah, like that's crazy. That's crazy. So for them to do the Star Wars Celebration was just utter cringe. Most of it was about the fracking acolyte and talking about Disney Plus stuff, and then as you said, announcing 3 movies again with attachments, but no green lights, not even like it, not active development, just development. And there's certain tiers. Oh, and by the way, WGA strike is probably going to happen. What I read this morning, it's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's looking like this, and we could get into that later, but I just watched this episode of Mandalorian, which is the penultimate episode of the series. And it's 50 minutes long. It could have been 30 minutes long. And it is filled with so much padding, dry delivering dialogue, walking up ramps, walking down ramps, walking up to each other, long stares at each other, which is particularly compelling with people with helmets on. Moff Gideon comes back in he's Darth Vader 2.0. But it's a Mandalorian Darth Vader Moff Gideon. It is like fan fiction shit at the end. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's so bad. And like, also like first of all, he's great as his character in Breaking Bad. He's
a great actor. A little wacko, but he's a great actor.
Can't take anything away from him. But like when he's got that outfit on and then it's like, it's his voice. It's so not imposing. It doesn't make sense. Darth Vader, that voice, like there's something about it. Even like you can go back to Darth Maul's voice, which was voiced by a different actor,
a comedian, the guy who played the Tick.
Yeah.
In the Amazon series. Yeah.
It's so Darth Maul's voice, like it meant something. There were little details that George Lucas, what Star Wars is missing. And this is not original thought. George Lucas is missing. I thought that when I saw The Force Awakens, because so many things are dumb in that movie. Like, I mean, just like little things where it's like, George wouldn't have done that. George wouldn't have done that. That creature design is unoriginal. That creature design is too much like our world.
Monster.
Well, among a bunch of other things, there's a creature sort of in the beginning scene when Rey rescues BB-8 and there's this creature sort of walking away in the background. It looks so cheap. It's like, I just thought to myself, George would have never done that.
No,
it's
George would have done some cringy things. Like,
but at least original, like look at the prequels, the designs of so many of one of the best panels actually at Star Wars Celebration was Douglas Chang, who designed a lot of stuff from the prequels and whatnot. He's just a graphic designer who designs architecture, ships and whatnot. And that was one thing that was worthwhile. I kind of had Celebration playing in the background. I actually watched it on Echo Base Network while they were commenting, and I was just in the chat, like, and I just had it on in the background. I'm not sitting watching Star Wars Celebration panels. It's not worth it. But boy, man, well,
there's so much of George in the OT.
Yes.
You know, his racing cars from Modesto, Central California kid. There's you can feel that the era of the 50s. It's a Western. It's a freaking Western and a fantasy with some sci-fi stuff. And without it, it's a husk. It's nothing but a husk.
100%. 100%.
You know, it's like somebody trying to, like, you know, and they have been for years, trying to rewrite Robert E. Howard. You just can't. Like, that guy was one of a kind, and George is one of a kind. Yes, he had help. Gary Kurtzman being there was huge. Gary Kurtzman is largely responsible for Empire.
Yeah,
right?
Gary Kurtz.
Gary Kurtz,
Gary
Kurtz,
Kurtz, yeah.
Sacrilege.
Don't worry, my brain does
nerd points for me.
My brain does the same thing your brain does.
Yeah, I'm just getting old. But like, this episode of The Mandalorian was as dumb as the rest. Okay, and I'll explain one thing that is just like, I'm just dumbfounded when I saw it. So we get a bunch of walking up, talking to Grief Karga. Little baby Yoda gets put into IG-12 now. Cutesy, pootsy, wootsy. Then the two tribes of the Mandalorian meet. They face each other down, and then, you know, girl boss Armor bangs her tongs and says, "We're gonna eat." And they go, "Okay." And they all decide they're gonna go and retake Mandalore, which nobody's been on. It's been blown to hell. We don't really know how long it's been. Couldn't have been that long. And Bo-Katan's big idea. So they fly in this massive Imperial fleet that they stole. Basically, there's a Star Destroyer like ship with a big mythosaur painted on the bottom, and it's flying over Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction. And then it lands. Then she's like, "Hey, we need to send a scout team to Mandalore to retake it, and we're gonna fly the entire fleet there." Why? Why would you do that? You can fly a scout team from Navarro to Mandalore. Why would you take the entire fleet with you? I mean, it couldn't possibly be a trap. It couldn't possibly be protected by, I don't know, Moff Gideon, which I knew. And guess what? There was a base. And there was also some Mandalorian pirates there who never noticed it. Never noticed an Imperial ship flying up and down. Never saw one in the sky. Never saw a thing. And they somehow survived. And their first thing was, "We failed you, Bo-Katan." Now, later on in the episode, Bo-Katan admits, like, she actually failed them, but she never used the words "I failed you," which she should have said. There's a lot of should haves here that could have happened. And yeah, we got a little bit of Dr. Pershing. Well, we don't know what happened to Dr. Pershing. Remember, we spent a half an hour in an entire episode. That dude, sorry, that girl he was with, talked to Moff Gideon. So we finally saw Moff Gideon in a hologram. And there, you know, remember, she's an Imperial convert, and there's like no security on her ever. Like, they're not even keeping an eye on her, the New Republic. So the New Republic is fucking stupid. The Mandalorians are stupid. And again, there is a scene where the Mandalorian basically becomes subservient to it says, "I am in your service now," to Bo-Katan. So she is official girl boss. And yeah, it's a bait and switch. It's a bait and switch that's leading, incidentally, straight to the Disney trilogy, like straight to it, like without a doubt at this point. Not that there ever was in my mind, but there might have been in some others. And it was 50 minutes long, and there's a little battle at the end, and somebody dies. but like, I don't know if you're supposed to feel anything for that death.
Oh my God, Gary, that's the first thing I thought. It's just like when it was all happening, I'm like,
something
guy in a mask who looks like a bunch of other people in a mask. They didn't really do anything to make me feel for that character. I mean, he gets mad over a game and he's sort of this heavy, but other than that, what other personality traits does he have that would have made me feel something? Did we ever see what that guy looked like? I don't think so.
Nope, never took his helmet off. So yeah, they just basically have the Empire there. They talked about Thrawn, but they never showed him, and that would have been a great opportunity to show them, especially when Moff Gideon was questioning, like, where is this Thrawn? Maybe we need new leadership. That's the point where you, boom, I'm right here, you know. But they're like, no, we got to save him for the next show. So yeah, they missed some dramatic, like the pirate Mandalorians should have been the ones who betrayed the Mandalorians. Had known the Imperial base was there the whole time, and didn't. Like, they missed some good storytelling opportunities within this bad episode of a bad season of a bad show. You know, like Picard hits and misses with some. Most of the episodes are good, but not all. Hits and misses, but there's a through line with all the characters, an emotional through line you care that has a payoff at the end. It's not just, oh, we're gonna plop a less bad episode in a shitty season.
Yeah,
good. You know, that's not how it works. And there's a very interesting article we can go through that came from the Hollywood Reporter yesterday. I'm sure you saw it, Chris Gore.
No, oh, I don't know if I did.
Oh, well, let me get it.
Let's get it, man.
Let's get it, man. But yeah, I could. And the music, dude. The music. What was that music at the beginning of the episode?
I have no idea.
It was like, bah, boom, bah, 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 bah. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Oh, it was terrible. The music is awful. It's here it is. Here it is. Boom. I tweeted about it. Mandalorian fans turn on season 3. This is prior to the, this is talking about the Lizzo episode and everything. A massive drop in quality. The backlash is strong with Mando as user review scores plummet and some critics pull out their blasters, while Paramount Plus's Picard surges in acclaim for its home stretch. Wow.
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 I didn't see that.
Yeah. A Hollywood Reporter. Oh, I do have to point out, we're going to get in this article, but Vanity Fair came to the rescue of the Rings of Power like they always do. Oh. They have to be on the Amazon payroll. It just seems like every time there's an expose of Amazon's The Rings of Power, Vanity Fair comes out with a little fluff piece. It's pretty weird, isn't it? Like every single time. Oh, that show's so DOA. You have to, it's behind a paywall though, and I refuse to. Maybe we can find a mirrored version of the article or an archived version. Last week at Star Wars Celebration, Disney released a flurry of exciting announcements, such as an Ahsoka trailer and 3 new movies, which, look at this, which are really truly going to happen this time. Promise. Whoa. This, hey, no offense to Bounding, but this ain't Bounding, who has been calling out this shit a lot longer. And like, look at the Access Media turning on their masters. Woo, damn. Yet while fans embrace the news, the crown jewel of Disney Star Wars TV universe, The Mandalorian, was arguably having its worst week ever. The show's latest episode, Guns for Hire, scored the drama's weakest fan reviews via IMDb since the neo-Western sci-fi drama, which it's not that. It's not that. It's a babysitting drama. Launched 4 years ago. 4 years ago. Yeah. Just a reminder, season 2 ended in 2020. It was at the end of 2020, but it was 2020. The episode wasn't entirely an outlier. Fan gripes about the show's third season have been rising in general, with the series' Rotten Tomatoes user reviews this season plummeting from their usual low 90s to just 57%, and its IMDb average similarly through, though not sharply, ebbing downward. ebbing downward. Critics widely praised the show's third season premiere. I didn't. Disney typically only provides one episode of The Mandalorian to critics at a time, yet some in the press have started to sound off as well. It's rather surprising blowback for the show that's been universally beloved since its launch. A rare title that is a family-friendly consumer hit, critically acclaimed, and generates awards love. The first 2 seasons were nominated for Best Drama at the Emmys. So what's happening? Increasingly, and adding some credence to the blowback, the complaints aren't centered around one thing, but are rather a miasma of grievances ranging from plotting and dialogue to unconvincing special effects to jarring cameos. A recent episode featured Lizzo, Christopher Lloyd, and Jack Black, which gave off campy Star Wars holiday special vibes.
True.
It did.
Very accurate.
CNN critic Brian Lowry, he sucks, wrote that the show is experiencing an identity crisis. It has been. Collider has been pummeling Mandalorian with its headlines like, here's what's killing the Mandalorian season 3. Screw Collider. Digital trends demand to know what the hell happened to the Mandalorian. I don't know. There is some great EFAP videos on this. I've done one. Many have done videos on what's wrong, and a lot of you have seen it. So thank you. You're the only ones that count. Fuck these guys. Forbes says the series fumbled the key storyline, and the key storyline. There has to be a storyline first. That's your fumble. If you're talking about we fumbled the storyline because it wasn't there, sure. And the whole season seems to have lost its way. This isn't the way. With both Mando and Grogu fading into the background and no clear overarching story to follow or villain to root against. That lost its way line is recurring, with MovieWeb headlining how The Mandalorian has lost its way, decrying a sheer lack of anything to drive the story forward. Well, guys, don't you know it always takes a series 3 seasons to get going? That's according to the OneRing.net. Fans have naturally been even more brutal. Well, yeah, because we don't care what the corporations think or about access or corporate overlords. We just don't give a shit. Massive drop in quality, declared one on Rotten Tomatoes. Another, the show has transformed out of all recognition. No longer is it the man with no name in space, but the man with no purpose in space. So he's got a purpose. He's a babysitter. Another, the show is not Mando's show anymore. Plot points are dropped for convenience, nonsensical quests, and the worst, by far, worst acting I have seen in Star Wars. I would agree with that. That bit, the show is not Mando's anymore, brings up another chief complaint as the season has given increased screen time to the fellow Mandalorian Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff, and a bit less to protagonist Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal, the voice actor. One Mandalorian director, Rick, suggested Din Djarin isn't necessarily the show's titular character anymore because the titular character now has teats, which is rather odd. Who is the Mandalorian at this point? He mused. And so I think it could be anyone. That is fucking stupid to say. That is just a dumb thing to say in public. I appreciate you said that in public, but you just told your viewing audience, that main character, it wasn't that important. And when you say your world isn't that important, it isn't. The minute you say it, you've broken the spell. What a moron. What an absolute moron. Who is this clown?
No clue, man.
Oh my God. The season is not The Mandalorian season 3. It's Bo-Katan season 1 featuring Din Djarin and Grogu. I just think it's a dumb name. Who just followed her around. Gal Stefan. Din Djarin is now a supporting character, and Grogu is there to for merchandising purposes only. Wow, it's weird hearing people echo what we've been saying for 4 years. Pascal was splitting his time filming HBO's Last of Us season 1. Well, he won't be splitting too much time filming season 2. Know what I'm saying? You might want to go back to the Mandalorian. A supporting character, and Grogu is there for merchandise. I read that, Pascal. Though the show regularly uses stunt doubles, Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder, no relation to Steven, I'm sure, under the helmet, with Pascal providing voiceover and in post-production. This season, The Mandalorian began more prominently crediting Wayne and Crowd for their work on the series, probably because they have to, right? There's probably some like Actors Guild thing where if you're on the screen, you need some credit. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, Chris.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to get credit if you're on screen. I don't know. Is Pedro Pascal, is he in that suit? I don't think so anymore. Is he?
No. He is simply a voice actor this season. I mean, there was an opportunity to take his helmet off this episode. I mean, why? He got captured.
Yeah.
What happened to him at the end? Did he get away?
No, he was captured, and they took him to the briefing room. This is
That's right. They took him to the briefing room.
That doesn't even sound like take him to be tortured. Take him
well, if it's the Disney briefing room, it might be actual torture.
Yeah. He will suffer under the weight of my PowerPoint presentation about my grand plan. Oh my God.
Take him to human resources. No!
Reconditioning. All this stuff, as I'm watching the show this season, it's so laughable. All this stuff is so much influence comes from working in a corporate space, especially all the New Republic stuff. Oh, I'm backed up with pile them over there. I'm going to walk into that one Asian X-Wing pilot who I'm going to walk into the office and talk to Tim Meadows. I mean, this is just, it's laughable. It's laughable now how anyone could take this. And the thing is, this we were talking about at the beginning. This isn't even Mandalorian. I don't know why it's called this. It's the Star Wars show. It's the Star Wars show. The Mandalorian's story was wrapped up in season 2. Should have actually been wrapped up in season 1. They should have wrapped up his story with Grogu. He takes the package and delivers it. And then the second season of The Mandalorian is a different season-long problem, right? Like a Western, okay? But it just, I don't know, just doesn't, it's just so, it's now just comical. It's comical.
It's a parody.
It is.
And they're trying, and like the one time they could make Star Wars, it's not really Star Wars. Which is Andor.
Right.
Like they have no idea. Kathleen Kennedy is a clueless leader. And I'm just here for the laughs at this point.
Yeah,
I mean,
how can you take any of it seriously?
No, we all know she hasn't been fired because of the political capital she holds. She's handpicked by George. She's buddies with George. She's buddies with Steven Spielberg, and everybody in Hollywood fears them, and they fear the blowback. Although the blowback there wouldn't have been any. There just wouldn't have been any. You could have worked out a deal where maybe they tried to, and she won't go. Whatever. There wouldn't have been any, and Star Wars maybe would have been on a better route, maybe not, but Dave Filoni's not the answer. That's for damn sure. He's a company guy. Always suspected that.
Yeah.
He is loyal, not to George. George is gone. George is gone. They mentioned his name 3 times during Celebration. That's about it.
More than that, a couple people in interviews. It's weird. It's almost like they forgot. Ooh, don't talk about George so much. Talk about Kathleen Kennedy. You know, yeah, it was just sad because I've been to many of the Star Wars celebrations, at least the ones in the United States. I haven't been to any of the overseas ones, but you know, it was just sad to see. It was sad to see people so enthusiastic over the thinnest of whatever. And it looks like, and I know Ryan Cannell talked about, you know, that basically they're just going to do the Thrawn trilogy, but with Ahsoka being Luke.
Ahsoka, yep.
It doesn't make any sense. Luke, Han, and Leia are there. They exist in this galaxy. I mean, what? I guess maybe you could deep fake them, or you could hire different actors who look. Everyone says Sebastian Stan looks a lot like young Mark Hamill. He could play a Luke. You know, like it's ridiculous that they would tell that story and not. Although, does it even matter? I mean, look, not everyone, mainstream normie Star Wars fans have probably not read the Timothy Zahn novels, right? The Heir to the Empire series. It's so good that should have been the Star Wars sequels, right? I mean, maybe they could have like aged them up, whatever, but tell that story. You know, the remnants of the Empire. It's a great story. You know?
My God, we've got over this ad infinitum. They're going to pluck the EU that they killed because they have no original ideas, because the story group is filled with a bunch of posers. I mean, and activists. It's obvious. I mean, this is intersectional feminist Star Wars. You know, and
all these series are. It's all. You got to come up with the Star Wars version of MCU.
Star Herd is the best one I could come up with so far.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm kind of sticking with that one. It's not my favorite, but it works. So it's funny. So the Nielsen data for The Mandalorian season 3 is limited to just the first 2 episodes. 6 have aired, now 7. The show has averaged 856 million minutes of viewing, down a modest 14% from the 2 weeks of season 2. But that's not enough information to conclude there's any sort of trend. It will be interesting to see the numbers for subsequent episodes. However, when the blowback kicked in the high gear. Some argue that the issues with the Mandalorian franchise began before the 3rd season spin-off The Book of Boba Fett was considered a bit disappointing, with its best reviewed episodes being the 2 Mandalorian-centric episodes that were awkwardly wedged into the season. While fans enjoyed those episodes, they were also controversial, as the Mandalorian season 2 storyline was about Din Djarin searching for the Jedi to return Grogu to his people, only for that decision to be reversed in the Book of Boba Fett like immediately, and Luke Skywalker was a dick. It was a strange bit of indecisive seeming plotting that's led to conspiracy theories about corporate interference and gripes about the breakout Baby Yoda feeling somewhat superfluous. There's always corporate politics going on, as we found out, you know, when Ike Perlmutter left and Victoria Alonso left. But if you think anybody's going to win over the president of Lucasfilm that was handpicked by George Lucas and is friends with Steven Spielberg, you're mistaken. And she's won every battle, but she's killed Star Wars. This woman's ego is massive. Like, it is fucking massive. And we've all seen that happen to people, right? They're fine. They seem fine. They get a little too much power and they go fucking nuts with it. Oh, we've seen that over and over again in history, and it's no different. And women can do it too. Women can do it too. I have no doubts that Kathleen Kennedy is filled with resentments, and she's taking her resentments out through Lucasfilm, and it's obvious. Weirdly, this is my favorite part. Weirdly, while this is happening, Star Wars' decades-old rival legacy franchise Star Trek is experiencing the exact opposite phenomenon with its current TV offering. The 3rd and final season of Paramount Plus's Picard is generating near universal acclaim after many fans and critics found the show's first 2 seasons messy and disappointing, or just complete shit. They averaged a mere 57% audience score, the same exact as Mando season 3. The new season's audience score shot up to 89% in its critic score. Who cares? Picard season 3 has generated so much excitement that Paramount announced on Tuesday that the show's final 2 episodes will be streamed in IMAX theaters on April 19th. And the big difference here is The Mandalorian still has the same people working on it that were working on it from season 1. What we have with Star Trek Picard season 3 is a guy who came in and rebuilt something that looks like Star Trek from scraps in a cave, basically. like did the impossible because Alex Kurtzman fucked off. Had nothing to do with, wasn't there, had nothing, was doing another show at the time and didn't care. It was an accident, an anomaly. And I'm thankful for it. I am. I don't think we're going to get more, but
yeah, Gary, for the last hour, I've been refreshing GoFobo.com so I can get those tickets, and they're all gone. I mean, I just kept getting bad gateway. If anybody has a +1 to the AMC Burbank 16 for Picard next week. I'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you whatever.
He'll take you out on a date.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll no, Chris will wear his slave Leia outfit on the
win a date with Chris Gore. Just make me your +1 to Picard in IMAX.
That's all he needs.
Oh my God. I was so, dude, I had it bookmarked. I'm logged in. Ugh. Anyways, that's what I've been doing for the last hour and ranting, of course. So typical.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good.
You can pull your juice card. Somebody will get you in.
There's
no screening even anywhere close to me. I think Dallas is the closest one. 100 has donated $200. Woo! 200 on the Streamlabs side, circumventing Mama Susan. And thank you, very generous. I mostly listen to the podcast version for time reasons, and that's good to hear. I need to hear because I have no way of checking the analytics. One time, Spotify called me and said we're doing really well over there. I'm all, can you tell me how many like downloads and everything? And they're like, oh, there's a website you go to. I couldn't find it. I calculated my enjoyment of all you do, and I found I owe you $23,672.76, but I don't have that on me right now. So here's $200 to spend on vapes and coffee. Hell yeah, baby. You don't owe that to me. I really appreciate the $200. We're good. If we manage to put a smile on your face and entertain you, that is good enough for me. That is good enough for me. Kevin Willis for $50. He just donated $200 to Streamlabs as a payback for your podcast. So it's Kevin Willis, which I listen to more than watch to on YouTube. Bless you for those. Looking forward to finally checking out Two Towers anniversary episode. Have you done Fellowship and Return? I did. I did. Fellowship and Two Towers were in theaters like a year ago. So because it was right before Rings of Power was coming out, which was no accident. But then I'm seeing it Thursday. I'm going tomorrow, 7:00. I'm going to see Return of the King, and right after this podcast, I'm going to go in my home theater and watch Fellowship and Two Towers with my kid. So I am ready to go. And this will be like the 100th time I've seen both of them. Don't care. I love these. I'm so excited to go see it in the theater. But it's not technically the 20th anniversary for Return of the King. That will happen in December. And as with every year, I will gather a group of awesome YouTubers, including Chris Gore, Robert Meyer Burnett, Critical Drinker, Mahler, as the whole gang. And we'll do a 20th anniversary of Return of the King, and then we'll also look back on the entire trilogy at that point, because Warner Brothers finally figured out that they should do a 20th anniversary, but they shouldn't do a fucking Fathom Events. They should do a trilogy extended version, release it wide, and just pick a week where there's not a big movie, and it will be the #1 movie of the week.
Yeah. Dude, they could do it just like they did Star Wars.
Yes.
They did Titanic 25th anniversary. I mean, it's not in every theater, but it's like a decent 500 to 1,000 screens. Titanic did extremely well. The screening I was at was packed. I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, I already have this movie on DVD in a pile somewhere, but I wanted to experience it in the theater. And it was they really did. They upgraded it, sort of. They didn't change anything about the movie, but just the look of it. There are a couple of shots that are kind of sketch in the original Titanic, but it makes so much sense for Lord of the Rings. I don't know why Warner's just doesn't do that.
Warner Brothers just dumb. They're just a dumb company. You remember the 20th anniversary of Star Wars? It was insane.
Yeah,
it was a wide release. And I went and saw it 3 times. But it stayed in the theater for a while, and there were huge lines, giant lines. People were dressed up. It was absolutely insane. And quite frankly, that's why the prequels happened, because, George saw, they still love this shit, and there was EU stuff, but that was tangible. For one, it's the 20-year rule. right? We were all older. So, the 7-year-olds were, 27, 28. We had a little more disposable income, not much, but at least I didn't. But yeah, it was great. I remember Howard Stern being all pissed because Empire beat Private Parts. He's all the fucking nerds. Howard's a punk bitch. Duke Devil 95 has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. And Winter Ranger has given us $20. Says, Chris, that trailer just took me back to a better time when I would rush home after football practice to catch G4. Back when we were excited for Spider-Man 3 and games magazines didn't hate us. Thanks for making this. Hail.
That's great. No, it's truly like everyone who worked on it. I mean, like, look, I'm getting a lot of the credit and fine, but there was a group of 4 editors. There were like my producer, Walter Areas, Bobby Schwartz, is like this whole, and everyone who worked on it is like a Attack of the Show G4 super fan. So you'd mentioned, like, remember that time when, I mean, it was weird. I almost felt like sometimes when we were working on it, I felt like Shatner feels when like someone will mention a specific thing that happens in an episode. And I'm like, I don't remember that. I remember getting shot in like more than one episode. They're always trying to kill me for some reason, which I thought was funny. But like everyone who worked, it's basically the movie was made by fans for other fans. It's not made to, promote some agenda or to rewrite the past. It was just like, you're a fan of the show. We're going to remind you why it was great, and maybe, talk a little bit about the legacy and kind of where we are now in fandom, so I can't wait for people to see it. And, we'll see what I get on Rotten Tomatoes. Now I'm going to get a Rotten Tomatoes score. That's going to be interesting. Should be interesting. So there you go.
I can't wait. You're going to get review bombed.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be positive. I mean, look, I'm not going to say it's 100% or 90%, but I mean, it's a good movie that I think that like satisfies like what I was trying to lay out. And I just want to share
the show. It was a show that would occasionally talk about comic books and like games and superhero movies, and it was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Yep. Hey, I'll tell the story again. I know you've heard it 100 times, but maybe somebody in the chat hasn't. I was watching DVD Tuesday with Chris, and he's like, because I remember reading the Losers comic and really liking it, right? I'm like, that was a good comic, but I never bothered to watch it in the theater. And you're like, no, give this movie a shot. It's pretty good. And I watched it. I freaking loved The Losers. I absolutely love that movie.
Oh, man.
It was such a good comic book adaptation. Back when, I still think the greatest, like from page to movie, like the single most accurate one ever is Sin City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sin City is phenomenal. I freaking love that movie so
Did
much.
they do a follow-up to that?
They did, and it wasn't good. It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good. But man, Sin City was shit. Yeah, Sin City's absolutely amazing. All right. Hey, I found that more. It wasn't behind a paywall. Maybe my phone was just being dumb. It's from Variety. The Rings of Power star Morpha Clark defends Galadriel as action hero. Her serenity is hard earned. Is that old? That's not the new one I saw. Yeah, that's old. Hang on, never mind. I saw a newer one. There it is. And it is at Vanity Fair, and it's going to be behind a paywall.
Oh no.
Dang it.
There's got it. Well, we'll find what you do is you copy and paste the headline in the Googles or whatever browser you use, and you find the mirror article, which will be on Reddit or some mirror site. Nope, not there yet. Hopefully I can find an archive version, because I am not going to pay to hear their, but remember, Vanity Fair is the one that came out with the article prior to the Rings of Power that called the fans racist. But they started it all right when that trailer dropped. So thanks, Vanity Fair, you fuckers. Dumb motherfuckers. Jacob Babrick, 2 parts for $25. Sent an email and a Streamlab donation Friday. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry what happened. Story is there. Father passed Saturday. Fuck cancer. I agree. Fuck cancer. Fuck it in every hole. I hate cancer. Saying goodbye tonight and tomorrow. And I hope you have a solid goodbye. Yeah, dude. There's nothing I can say other than hope your family's okay. Hope you and your family's okay. Love you, Hot Rod. Love you back, man. Gary, I sent an email explaining my father in a situation. I have swallowed my pride and started a fundraiser. The story and why I started it are in the link, and there's a GoFundMe link. Do you want to take a look at that real quick?
Yeah, it's right here.
Is it?
So there you go. Rodney Babrick, terminal, stage 4, liver cancer.
All right. My name is Jacob Babrick. I'm here now to ask for help. If people can offer. My father, Rodney, went to the doctor for shortness of breath on March 12th. From the moment, and from that moment, it has been bad news daily. They sent him for multiple tests and had lost 65 pounds. I can't read this whole thing, but the breakdown is, damn, that was fast. My dad went through it for years. So it was March 12th of this year. We're going to get him transported to the house so I can provide him during these last few days. Just today, we had a scare in his place of employment. Was going to discontinue his FMLA. What's that? Or his health insurance, basically, and his life insurance. Without there, we would not be able to afford hospice care or funeral funding or travel costs. Any and all contributions will go for Rodney and our family to help with the medical bills and costs associated with difficult time before and after the inevitable. So you can donate right there. We'll put the link in the description. Can we do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
It is insanely costly, especially if they're losing benefits. That's horrible. We had benefits and it was insane, absolutely insane. So I'm really sorry to hear you going through that. And I've been through it.
Really
I would wish it on my worst enemy. And I'm sorry that happened. Sorry that happened. It affects us all, man. Let's go over here. Kevin Wills. Is this the first 2 parts? Yes. Okay. Also, recently listened to the Lord of the Rings audiobook read by Rob Inglis for like the 7th time. Wanted more. So I listened to The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings read by Andy Serkis. Still on Return of the King there. They are great. They're all great. I mean, like, Andy Serkis does a really good job. I'm glad. God, they finally redid it, but I prefer Rob Inglis. Apologies for all of my off-topic super chats. I usually just listen to the there's no such thing as off-topic here. We are a stream of conscious podcast. Okay, I am. I would have to stay on topic, which I cannot do. So there's no need to apologize. If you want to go to your happy place, and I recommend this, and I did this when my dad was going through cancer. So this is why the BBC radio show is where I would just turn off my brain and just go into Middle Earth. So the Brian Sibley BBC audio drama was my happy place during non-happy times. We all have that. That's why we love our stories, our pop culture. Because I've said this, like, everybody's got a story. I went through a hard time, death of a dad, lost my job, divorce, whatever. And I found solace in a story, a comic, a movie, a TV show. You know, that's why it is important to us. And that's where Hollywood could do good. They just don't realize it because they have lost the plot. They don't know what good is anymore. They just don't. And maybe the strike will take care of that. Maybe the strike will, it'll be a good thing. I don't know. Maybe it'll thin the herd a little bit. But it's going to thin the herd. What happens after that is completely up to Hollywood. The Grizzly for $50. After watching the trailer, I feel that Doomcock was completely right with the Indy 5 rumor. The lines on his face's destiny really leans towards it. I want Disney to time erase Indiana Jones and make it Phoebe feminism and the arc of the manslaying. Yes, queen. I don't know. I mean, there's a dial of destiny, so that sounds like you can alter time. Gotta admit that. But they look like flashbacks in the trailer to me. But maybe he does go back in time. And if that happens, that is fucking stupid. No matter what happens at the end. That is a terrible idea.
Yeah. Also, the running time is what, 2 hours and 22 minutes?
Yeah, dude.
That's so long. Oh my God.
Like, you know what was lame about the Crystal Skull? It wasn't Shia LaBeouf. It was the UFO at the end of the fucking movie. That was lame. Indiana Jones goes after religious artifacts, okay? Ancient civilizations. That's where he stays. They should have had him going after Atlantis should be the big one. But Abrahamic, I'm saying the words like religions. So right in there. That's where it's supposed to be. He went after the Lost Ark of the Covenant. Kind of hard to beat that, but going after the Holy Grail, pretty good. Pretty good. I like Temple of Doom. As a matter of fact, I like it more now as an adult than I did as a kid. I didn't like it very much as a kid. I was like, that was kind of dumb. But I have grown to love that movie now. Absolutely love it. So yeah, he that's what he should be going for. There are books. Again, there are Indiana Jones books, comic books. There is The Fate of Atlantis. There is The Spear of Destiny. You can check. As a matter of fact, I think The Fate of Atlantis has the very first Alex Ross cover. One of those issues has the very first Alex Ross cover. That they could have based it on, but this is Kathleen Kennedy. You know, James Mangold, baby on Twitter, was a dick to my friend Matthew Kadish, but a great filmmaker, like without a doubt. That guy's made like Walk the Line is my favorite like docu music pick ever. 310 to Yuma is fucking brilliant. Ford versus Ferrari, fucking brilliant. Brilliant movie. Good dad movie.
Yeah.
Good dad movie. So the guy's like got chops. It's just no time travel. I don't know. That trailer and the capitalism line, like that was it. I'm like, fuck this. Not that I was going to give it a chance. The de-aging looked pretty good. It did. Can you and maybe that's why the movie cost $350 million, Chris.
True.
But dude, if that time travel shit at the end is true, which is like the silliest shit I've ever fucking heard, to be honest with you. But I mean, to be fair, when I heard the Game of Thrones season 8 spoilers and the Rise of Skywalker spoilers that I read on Reddit, both of those came from Reddit, by the way. There's people taking credit for them, but they came from Reddit. I thought those were silly too, and they turned out to be true. So I don't know. You know, every Game of Thrones season was spoiled. Every single one. Because I used to be in the Free Folk Reddit like a lot. I spent a lot of time in there. And dude, they would find episodes early. Like HBO channels in different countries would accidentally release the episode, and then you get an episode like a week early. Like the Hodor episode, I saw that one like a week early.
That was a good episode.
Hold the door. That was like the last, like because that's from the book. That's actually that's going to be in Wins a Winner. That's it's probably not going to go down exactly like that, but like that's how that time loop thing is from the books. But that was good. Yeah, that was good. Hoffman. So Socrates. I almost did it again. HK37 for $20. Gary, congrats on going down to where am I going?
The band's Destiny
rabbit hole. Yeah. I can say it, but I can't like read it. The Bond Dessiné rabbit hole. Do you have a BD recommendations for the X-Men and for the X-Men besides Chris Claremont's run? Grant Morrison's X-Men run is really good. It is. from the early 2000s. That's a really good X-Men run. But like nobody gets close to Chris Claremont. Nobody. And Blueberry. So Razor Fist turned me on to Blueberry, and I found a bunch of English translations that are fucking old and kind of expensive, and it's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant shit. So yeah, it's a deep. I'm going down an anime-like rabbit hole, but with bande dessinée. French comics, by the way. French comics. And I've always liked them. I've always liked Mobius, but there's so much more. And we're missing so much more because they're not translated. And what really got me going, was the Elric comics. They were done by French artists, and dude, they are freaking amazing. Hang on, I'll get one. Hang on. Hold on.
Hodor. Maybe in the meantime, I can read a super chat.
Please.
Nathan Danes for $1.99 says, "Will Attack of the Doc be available in iTunes?"
Yeah, it's first hitting Vimeo on April 24th. It will be on Vudu, Amazon, iTunes, all that stuff. So, and even YouTube, you'll be able to buy it on YouTube. You can buy it on YouTube. So it's just going to show up on YouTube, probably based on your search and whatnot. So it'll be available on everything. And then the Blu-ray is coming out July. I'll have copies at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm going to find a buddy's booth where I can just sit for a couple hours and sell Blu-rays. But yeah, I just want people to see it and talk about it. And because I think the new relaunch of G4 kind of ended in a bad way, and it didn't deserve that kind of send off. So I think the legacy is important, and I hope this I hope this kind of reminds people of why they were fans to begin with. It probably is going to make people remember, like, this is why the new G4 was kind of disappointing. It wasn't what they expected it to be. Anyway, but thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat.
So this is Valerian and Lorelei. This is what the bad movie was based on, but this book is the shit. A lot of Fifth Element came from this and the Ink Call. And then there's Elric. Now I have every version of every print of this since I saw a Razor Fist video 3 years ago talking about this. So this is the soft cover versions bound. But if you see, check out this fucking art. That is amazing shit. Imagine making this into a show. Well, they'd fuck it up, but let me show you the interior. Let me show you their interior art. I'll find a dynamic one. It's high fantasy at its absolute best. This is cool. It is a great story. It's dark as hell. I love Elric, and yeah, highly recommend it. So you can get this slipcase of the 4 volumes. It was out of print for a while, but yeah, I think you can get it on Amazon. But it's from Titan. It's from Titan Press.
Oh wow, I love them. That's a UK company.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. They're great.
And I have been in conversations with a Frenchman I know. I don't know what it would take to get this going. And like, if I ever speak to Razor Fist, we're gonna talk to him on the 21st. I would be totally down with helping fund a translation effort, a la like they do with anime. Like Dark Horse made tons of money translating anime. So, but I would like to get these stories out there, and like we need, French translators to translate more books if they're willing to do it, because as Razor Fist points out again and again, there is giant bande dessinée bookstores, and they're filled, and they do as well per capita as any anime publisher.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a huge market there. And I think it's not superhero based. It's everything else. It's everything else. So yeah, highly recommend the Elric books, Valerian. Blueberry if you can get your hands on it. They'll probably reprint it at some point, but it's not exactly politically correct. We'll just say.
Oh. Okay.
Well, it's like reading, old Robert E. Howard, or I was listening to Solomon Kane last night. The complete tales of Robert E. Howard's Solomon Kane last night as I drifted off to bed, listened to The Hood. It was great. It was great. Solomon Kane's awesome. Okay. I'm going to quit blathering off about that, but all I do is hate stuff, Chris.
Sure.
Bounding did send me an article I linked in the chat if you want to talk about the Morphic Clark stuff.
Yeah. Thanks. Bounding sent it?
Yeah.
Good looking out, Bounding. We love Bounding. Let's see it. Good. I knew they'd be on top of this. After previously telling critics to shut the fuck up, the Rings of Power actress Morphic Clark now says, if I was on the other side, I would also be feeling like that. But then she defends being Warrior Galadriel. Actor Morphic Clark, who plays Guy Ladriel in Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings of Power. Ooh, I said The Lord of the Rings. Sorry, I shouldn't be. Completely changed her tune when it comes to responding to criticism of the show, her character, and her castmates in a recent interview. During the lead up to the release of The Rings of Power, Clark took upon herself to insinuate that critics of the show and its racial changes to Tolkien's lore were racist. That's exactly what she said. That's exactly what she said right there. So do you think they've decided to come out and not attack the fans? Well, that's good. But it's still the same people making this show. So don't expect what do you want me to praise you for this? It's about a year too late for one. And your show stinks. She followed so she said, anyone sending hate to my black castmates by who's doing that? Who is sending it directly? Who is saying it? Pointing out a character in a show. We're not talking about the actresses or actors. We've never gone after them. We're talking about the decisions made by the two white guys who run the show. Get off my page, get off my internet, and shut up. And shut the fuck up. Yeah, this isn't a good move. And you want to know why it's you might, even if you're legitimately talking about one DM sent to because I'm sure it happened. There's dicks everywhere. There's assholes everywhere. Nobody condones that. But when you come out and do this and made these broad general statements, people will take them broad and generally. You know what I'm saying? Morphid, adult pretender. The best thing to do is act and shut up at this point. If I was an actor, if I was an agent in Hollywood, I would tell all my clients to do your job and shut the fuck up. And you'll make the most money. Because the less people know about the actual you, the better, because you pretend for a living. You need to slip yourself into somebody else's body. So don't ever do interviews. Talk about your movie. Be as boring as fucking possible. And be a great actor. Okay, scroll up a little bit. No. I mean down. Sorry. The other up.
Sorry.
Not only did Clark insinuate that critics of the numerous changes of the show made Tolkien's lore were racist, but she also demanded those critics silence. On top of this, she would also attempt to defend the radical changes the show made by making the nonsensical argument that no one could have known what Tolkien wanted or liked, despite him explicitly writing it down in his novels and his letters. Except for all the letters and all the interviews and his son breaking it down for years and years obsessively. But outside of that, no one would have known. Tom Shippey. Oh, you know that he would have known. What'd you do to him? You fired him. She told Inverse, which is a garbage site, Tolkien was a really complex person who wrote a really complex world. And this idea that anyone could ever know exactly what he would have wanted and would have liked this, I feel is nonsense. I'm glad you feel is nonsense. Chris, do you think Morfydd Clark has read Lord of the Rings?
If she did, someone read it to her. She didn't read it.
Okay.
So
I'm going to say she didn't. I'm going to go out and say she didn't. Maybe she read The Hobbit, a little shorter book. However, her tune has seemingly changed in an interview with Vanity Fair, which just so happened to come out right after that Hollywood Reporter article, which was a complete takedown of Amazon and Jennifer Salk and their business practices there. Kim Masters wrote that, and props to her. Props to her. That was like actual reporting. I was kind of impressed, Chris. She replied, because I am a fan of this type of genre. Oh, they all are. They all are. They're all fans, lifelong fans, except I never saw myself in it. I've read the books that have been turned into things, and I've been like, I don't think that house would have looked like that. So I really get it. No, it ain't about a fucking house. It's not about the armor. It's about the story. It's about the characters, the feel. Like, you're trying to adapt and reproduce Tolkien, and you did it in the most antithetical, opposite way possible. She could, by the way, you approached it like an activist. You're like, there's too many men. Have you read it? Have you really read it? Have you read the Silmarillion? She continued, what's so wonderful about these worlds and these characters is they don't exist yet. Well, the made up ones don't. They do so intensely in so many minds. They don't exist, and yet they do so intensely in many minds. So I think actually these characters do exist in a very established way, and it has nothing to do with my mind. It has everything to do with how Tolkien wrote the damn book. Jesus. Fucking nihilist. Nothing is real. Everything is gray. Fuck this shit. That's what Lord of the Rings isn't. That's what Tolkien isn't. So I think there's an idea that you can't please everyone. But also, I do respect the ownership of her because I do respect the ownership of her because if I was on the other side, I'd also be feeling like that. Okay. I feel protective about that. I feel quite protective, making sure she's safe from harm. From the actress who did the most harm through the worst writing to the character of Galadriel that will ever exist. Like, ever. I don't know if she was told. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. I don't listen, people will interpret the role based on what I've seen of her interpretation of the role. She knows nothing about Galadriel. J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay know nothing. I don't care if they've read the book. They don't know Galadriel. They don't understand Galadriel. And Jennifer Salk is an idiot. So I'm not really sure, Chris. This is... I mean, we're all crying about like spilled milk that is... they're crying about spilled milk that's rotted and has dissipated by now. It's gone. Like, this show's dead. The show is dead.
Yeah.
Even a popular show taking 2 years is bad for the show. That's why Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon knocked off 2 episodes of their final season so they can do a quicker turnaround next time. So there isn't a 2-year break because they know that's the death of your show. You have to be extraordinary to survive 2 years, and you usually don't after your first season. They do that, after season 5 or 6. Okay, fine. If it's a hit show, it could be okay, but it's still not good. You still lose. There's a momentum that you lose. You lose your audience. Who do you think is going to come back for a season 2 of the Rings of Power besides me? And other content creators? Nobody. I'm going to hear in my chat I did not watch this. I'm not even going to bother. I've already heard that. People didn't even finish it. Most people didn't finish it. And those are the people who, I can't believe 37% finished it, to be honest with you.
Mostly YouTubers, I bet.
Unfortunately, Clark has completely failed in this regard, given how the first seasons depict the character. YouTuber The One Ring accurately points out how the character was twisted and warped from Tolkien's character. He explained, they changed her into a character that doesn't resemble what Tolkien actually wrote. They made her a commander of armies that's fueled by anger, that's fueled by self-centeredness, self-righteousness, and bad manners. Yes, an elegant, royal, high elf is like, all right, let's go kill some orcs, right? Interestingly, Clark admits Guy Ladriel was mischaracterized in the first season, albeit she appears to tactfully justify the decision. So last season, I think they had her grief was so intense, her sadness was so huge. I think when you are okay, for one, it was 1,000 years. Chris Gore, 1,000 years. Her grief for her brother was 1,000 years ago. Okay. Do elves not get over things? I mean, I'm sorry. For one, she had 3 brothers, not one. But oh well. Last season, I think her grief for her brother who died 1,000 years previous was too much for her, I guess. You do end up becoming self-obsessed. You can't see anything beyond the haze of misery. And now that has started to clear after 1,000 years. Wait. 1,000 years.
Well, women are emotional creatures sometimes, I guess.
Obviously.
They have tempests in them.
As for what to expect in the second season for her character, Clark detailed, hopefully with that, she's rediscovered the beauty of life and what she is really trying to protect the whole time beyond herself. That's something I just love about Tolkien. You need to be connected to the world and those around you. Okay, what about your husband and your daughter that they left out of the show because they didn't want to put you in a patriarchal cis hetero relationship and rob you of your agency? How are you going to retcon that? So they're going to retcon it, basically. They're going to make her all happy and smiley, and we'll get more horseback scenes of her looking like she's masturbating on the back of her horse. That's what it looked like. Okay, I'm just calling it like I see it. They must be under a lot of pressure. They have to be under a lot of pressure. Amazon's making massive cuts, but they're just dumping endless money while firing thousands of people from their corporation into this fucking vanity project that's nothing but what I think the Hollywood Reporter described it perfectly. It's a side hustle. Chris Gore, how do you feel like you're the entire industry down there now relying on 2 companies where Hollywood is a side hustle?
It's weird because they call it an independent film. They actually have a word for it. It's called dumb money. It's when people that don't understand the business invest in the business. So what you've got is people whose motivations are not necessarily to do quality work. Their motivations are to give $1 million to a young filmmaker who will get the movie at Sundance. And what they want to do is go to Sundance and go to parties. And they want to be able to tell their rich friends that they invested in a movie and that their name is on the movie with no expectation that they're ever going to make any money. So they don't care about profits. All they care about is prestige and looking good to their friends and getting a free vacation out of it. It doesn't matter if the movie's any good. And it's usually family money or someone that they know or somebody. It's a lot of, I used to think that everyone at Sundance and at these festivals was someone like Kevin Smith, who sold his comic book collection and ran up 20 grand on credit cards. But no, it's a lot of just, the sons and daughters of the rich. It's what I call art welfare. So that's fine in independent film. And there are good filmmakers that come from that get to make their first movies independently. Then they go on to, have careers in Hollywood. But this is now happening in Hollywood where, hobbyists are delving into making films and television series, and they really don't have that experience. So, I mean, you could label it dumb money, but I see like a lot of the things I've known about in indie film forever. It's like, I always thought Hollywood was too smart to do stuff like that because they were driven by profits. Turns out that's not true. And it's just bizarre. It's bizarre to me. Do they think they could just write off the failure of the Rings of Power? Can they just write it off? Like, we're just going to write it off. It's a loss, whatever. But continuing to go forward without a major pivot is foolish and stupid. Was not widely liked by critics and in particular hardcore fans, which you need. And then that stupid strategy, which we've seen over and over again, attack the fans. It doesn't work. It's alienating. It's God, it's just so annoying to see this. The thing that is annoying is that the mainstream media doesn't see it for what it is. The mainstream media doesn't look at Star Wars fandom and say the same fans that were called racist for just pointing out that this character of Reva was kind of shoehorned in to a show that was supposed to feature Obi-Wan Kenobi. And also was just kind of a weak character to begin with. I feel a little bad for the actress because she was given bad direction by everyone involved creatively. I think there were ways to make that character a cool character. Less screen time would have helped. A British accent would have helped. A better design that seemed Star Wars would have helped. I thought that the Reva character was just poorly conceived, and it's not like, these actors, they will actually workshop a character. Who is this person? They put a lot into it. It doesn't seem like she was given good advice, but that same audience of Star Wars fans was begging for Lando Calrissian to be in the Star Wars sequels. So are they racist or just didn't like the dramatic drop in quality? And I just, look, the trade should point out, let's be real. Let's be honest. That's why there's so little trust for mainstream news these days, because we can see it right before us. And something that's a little bit connected to this. Did you see this interesting conversation that Elon Musk had with some guy that was pointing out all the hate speech that's on Twitter? Did you see that, Gary?
Yeah, I did. I watched it this morning.
I did as well. And I'm thinking
Elon owned him. Elon
that
BTFO'd him, just fucking destroyed that guy.
He did. And it was just like, show the examples. It's like, I would like to see, because look, and this is a good thing. Racism is really not tolerated. True racism is not tolerated. Okay. It just isn't. It is socially unacceptable to be racist. It just is. So shame those people. Take screenshots and share them. I mean, ultimately, it's probably trolls and kids, not anyone with a face on their profile. It's people effing with you, and that will never go away. It's never going away. There will always be idiots online. There'll be an 11-year-old who has a Twitter account and is just being a jackass. That's never going to stop. Okay? So you got to take it for what it is. It's a minority of people who are effing around, and you just sort of let it slide. So I just don't understand. I'm so glad that Elon called out that BBC reporter and just like, look, show it. What do you mean by hate speech? Someone being slightly misogynistic. Is that hate speech? Is that how we're defining it now? Who defines it? I mean, I don't know. I'm just tired of being having to deal with idiots. So I generally ignore that stuff. And because it doesn't get a reaction out of me, it doesn't really spread. I'm surprised how little I get attacked, but I just learned years ago, never feed a troll. Don't give them what they want. Never apologize. And just, I don't know. We live in a weird time, Gary. We talk about this a lot.
We do.
So,
I think you just pick and choose your battles, and you find something to put a spotlight on. And troll is not worth it. But when a company does it, I'm going to do it every single time. And the company does it to be, of all things, risk averse. That's the answer. Going after a segment of your fandom that they see as small, but what ends up being on the entire fandom in the Rings of Power case, it was being risk averse. Well, we don't want to be associated with racism, so we'll just, we'll force some characters who really don't belong in a world, that breaks the verisimilitude of it completely, because we don't care. These are just dumb stories. That's their attitude. They don't respect this shit. They never have. They never fucking will. And if you don't respect it, you're not going to make good stuff. And they didn't. Amazon didn't. Disney doesn't. They don't know what the fuck they have. And it, they equating it to, Amazon and Apple coming in. They bring it up in the Hollywood Reporter article. There was a time that Coca-Cola came in, or was it Pepsi? One of the two big soda companies came in and thought they could make movies, right? And they couldn't. And then there was just a laundry list of Japanese and German companies who thought they could buy their way into Hollywood and didn't know the culture, didn't understand, how things got done, because, Hollywood was built from scratch. But now that hold system is broken. Not that it was ever like totally working, but it was working better before. And now it's completely broken and reliant on two companies that could pull the plug on their film divisions and their television divisions any minute without like seeing a loss. It would probably help them. But right now, Amazon, we have two CEOs at Apple and Amazon that love being at award shows, and except when Ricky Gervais is fucking roasting them in the audience, which was maybe the greatest moment in Hollywood in the last 10 years. I'm thinking that Ricky Gervais roast at the Golden Globes. Yeah, that's the stuff of legend. Absolute stuff of legend. But fuck Amazon. Matthew Hammond for $20 on the Streamlabs side. Check out the Washington Post website archive I emailed you titled, "It is time for Star Wars to get excited about movies again." Also, Chris Gore's trailer was great. So many independent movie trailers are terrible. Right? But we still need the indies, because the indies are the farm system of Hollywood, and they're being destroyed right now. So
yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
Is that like a sarcastic headline, Matthew? It's time to get excited about movies again, Star Wars movies again. I'm not.
Gary, you pointed out that like, if I could just say real quick, you pointed out like all these people getting in this industry. I mean, I saw it in the indie film scene in the 90s, right? Like, oh wow, there's just a lot of people here that they don't know anything about film. They don't care about film. They want the prestige of telling their rich friends they're a producer of a movie. The producing involves a pen and writing a check. So it's and you see this. I mean, you see this also. Hey, Amazon, I'm rich. We'll just make TV shows and movies. That should be pretty easy. So when you have so much dumb money entering the space where the core business, right? Amazon's core business is get me something shipped to me within 2 days. I pay an annual fee for that. A lot of people don't even know that they have Prime Video because they just pay they pay the Amazon Prime fee to get their vitamins delivered and pay no shipping, right? Like it saves. So whatever. But all I'm saying is that dumb money, now you see the flood of content, and much of it is average. Much of the content, Netflix, look at all the streaming shows. I cringe when I just see something I want to look at and it's 6 episodes. Could you have just made one 90-minute documentary? Why do I have to watch? What's that? What?
Did you hear about the Citadel, the Russo brothers Citadel? What's behind that?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know.
Again, that article is freaking long, but everybody should read it. So the Citadel is the Russo brothers, who, by the way, Jennifer Salk was pushing hard to run the Rings of Power that got shot down by the Tolkien estate. I was told that their pitch was shit anyway, but they have this, first look deal at Amazon. So they're doing this show Citadel, and they already filmed a bunch of episodes and scrapped the showrunner and scrapped it. And the budget is $300 million. And they're 8 40-minute episodes. 8 40-minute episodes for $300 million. It's unbelievable. It's like they paid $90 million for A League of Their Own. She paid $160 million for Air. It'll never make its money back. As good as it is, I hear from everybody, she paid $160 million for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that can never last. And like anybody with a brain knows that. Like that kind of spending cannot last. She's spending like a cokehead in Vegas, like I said and that's going to get shut down. It's absolutely. Look what Amazon did to Comixology. They destroyed it. They absolutely destroyed it. So you don't think they don't give a shit about Amazon Studios? They could pull the plug on that. They are a mail order company. They are. They're a retail website. That's what Amazon is. They're not a studio. They bought MGM. The library isn't extensive. They overpaid for it. They're already having problems with Barbara Broccoli with Broccoli. I never know how to sell it. I would just say broccoli. I've been saying that forever. With Bond, and because they wanted to make a TV series, and she's like, "Fuck no." So yeah, like we'll see. But like, read that article. It gives you the insight of they're throwing around a bunch of money. They're star fucking. They are afraid to fire people because they're afraid to look bad because they bought their way in. And they're just like that kid who bought his way in to go party with Charlie Sheen, which probably would have been fun, but and ended badly. China owns AMC. Part of it, AMC's not doing well, and Regal, I think, is in bankruptcy. But I hope they're okay because that's a theater near me. That's the one I'm gonna go see. Return of the King in. But Chris, I love your insight. You know this stuff, and you're not afraid to talk about it. So many people are scared to death to talk about the diversity, inclusion, and equity shit because it is absolutely ruining Hollywood. And that's like, I've been hearing that across the board from everybody, but they're like, I can't say anything.
No, you can't. I mean, you can't fire certain people because of how it would make you look bad. Hollywood needs to, and this is, I've said this for a long time, the who gives a shit attitude and not caring is like a useful tool. I don't care what people think. There's a reason. Look, there's another documentary I have that'll be out probably a year from now about Film Threat. And the title of the documentary is called Film Threat Sucks. You can look up, there's a little teaser we did years ago when we started, but I've been working on that doc for like 10 years. I didn't direct it, I'm producing it, but like producing it where I'm actually involved, but there's a reason it's called Film Threat Sucks is because I just didn't give a shit what people thought. And I was surprised how cowardly people in Hollywood are. I think a lot of the fear comes from, they might work with someone again, or the person who's mediocre here may be the head of a studio a year or two from now. And you don't ever want to say anything bad publicly about anybody. So it's all this sort of false niceness. And I've always had a weird mistrust of anyone who's too nice to me because I think that they're coming with an agenda. They want something from me. Turns out that's true a lot of the time. People who back in the 90s when I was more naive and I thought people who were my friends were just like, oh, you're just using me because you wanted a specific result. Now I just directly ask people, what exactly do you want?
Yep.
What do you want? What do you want from me? I want a review on Film Threat. Well, here, go to this page, you submit your movie, we'll review anything. You don't need to pretend to be my friend. And then I genuinely do become friends with people in the industry because there are good people working in this business, but it's filled with cowards and phonies. And it's kind of always been that way. And now it's just different stuff. I would recommend a movie. If I had the money to do this, I would remake this film. This is a movie that I really would want to direct, a modern update of Robert Altman's The Player. If you've ever seen The Player, it's so good. I actually, for a time, worked at that studio where they shot The Player. It's such a great film, and it's Hollywood is exactly the same with its vapidness.
Swimming with Sharks was a good one. Kevin
That's
Spacey.
a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good movies that kind of like, just give you a little peek under the hood or behind the veil of what it's really like to work in this business. And it's a bunch of paranoid sociopaths and narcissists. And none of that has changed. And all of the virtue signaling that Hollywood does is completely phony and for looks, all of it. I remember when I first moved here and everyone was like, and I can't believe this became a Seinfeld joke, but like remember the wear the red ribbon? You remember the red ribbon for AIDS? Wear the red ribbon. It's like, I remember sitting here, this is the early 90s, and I'm like, late 80s, early 90s. I'm like, that will not do anything. You wearing a ribbon solves nothing. That doesn't do a thing. And then they evolved. They started doing so many colors of different ribbons. For
the yellow ribbon, I remember. Yeah.
There were a million different ribbons for this cause and that cause.
And then we had bracelets. Then the rubber bracelets.
Oh yeah, it started with the yellow one, I think.
Yeah. Live strong. All that, like that. Yeah, some of them look, they're genuinely good. Some of them, but look,
I see him show up in dodgeball, and you go, "Oh, Lance."
But it's like there's a famous Seinfeld segment. I know you know it, where they they show like wear the ribbon, and they're chasing after Kramer. I know you've seen it, right?
Yes.
Such a great.
I've seen them all.
Yeah.
That's like the one. I'm not the biggest sitcom guy. That's probably the greatest one. That or Cheers. One of those two.
Yeah.
I
was never a big Friends fan, just because I'm like, oh, they're all just rich. How do they have these huge apartments? I was going to, from Michigan. This is like the mid 80s. I went on this like search. I'm like, I need to leave Michigan, Detroit, go somewhere else. I'm either going to live in New York or LA. And New York, you would look at these like literally look like a storage container, and it was like $1,000. And I thought, I'm not going to live like that. And moved, and I looked at the West Coast. I like this better. The weather's nicer, whatever. And then I thought that the people, this was my true thoughts. The people in LA were stupider and they lacked work ethic. So I thought I would thrive better on the West Coast. Whereas like the East Coast is very dog eat dog. Well, turns out LA is also very dog eat dog. It's just not what I liked about New Yorkers is they don't give a fuck. They'll say F you to your face. I like that. I like honesty.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me.
LA won't do that.
Yeah.
No. They've got a dagger behind their back to plunge between your shoulder blades at the precise moment.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. So
there
you
I totally agree. And Friends never fucking watched a single minute of an episode. I hated that theme song. It's the night circle of hell. It's like listening to Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi playing together. It's like the fucking worst song. It's and I saw that show and it just like it repulsed me. It's just so normy,
like me.
People same here that show. I just couldn't relate to any of the characters, and I looked like them, and I couldn't relate because they just were the most milquetoast. I was never a Friends. I did like Seinfeld just because it was some of the episodes
was awesome because they were assholes. They were all assholes. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's four horrible people doing nothing. And that was the whole point of the show. It was great. I love Seinfeld and Married with Children. That's another classic. And I love Cheers. Big Bang Theory, fucking hated it. Hated that too.
Oh, I despised that show. It was literally the nerd version of blackface. Like that show.
It was.
Seriously. That's what it really was.
The only one it's not as bad as but Comic Book Men. Fucking hated Comic Book Men.
Yeah, I watched a few episodes of that and it just it's reality TV, so it's all fake. I was on one episode.
I felt like now I know what a doctor feels like when he sees ER.
I was on one episode of a show. You can look this up. I was on an episode of a show called Shipping Wars. it was only because I knew one of the producers. I had worked with him on, I think it was the X show. And he's like, hey, I'm doing this new job. We'll give you $500 if you'll just be on this episode of Shipping Wars. The idea was that they were going to deliver to my place a life-size Han Solo in carbonite and an Emperor in the throne seat from Return of the Jedi, right? Like they were going to deliver it. And there were all these problems. Dude, everything that happened in that show was fake. All the drama. The guy was like an asshole to me on purpose. It's not like it was scripted, but he was playing a part and I just reacted to things that he said. I didn't buy that shit. It wasn't shipped to my place. I was paid $500 to fake receive a delivery of nerd stuff. I'm sure you can find the episode somewhere, but I was like, it's $500, you know?
You should have been there. They should have had the camera crew there when I had my Superman statue before we moved on a pallet, and my wife's reaction, like, what the fuck are you doing? We're moving in like a month. And I'm like, I couldn't control, like, it was a good price. I had to get it.
Well, look,
we could have got it after we moved.
I mean, I legitimately have a lot of nerd stuff. That's probably just not something, my place is just not big enough for that kind of stuff. But
your house could fit a life-size Superman about to take off and fly.
I might be able to fit that.
I couldn't fit it in this room. It was because the ceilings are not 8 feet. They're like 7 something. And it was 8 feet. So I'm like, God dang, because it was supposed to be right behind me. But it's in my game room now.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It is
You have a
fucking
game
awesome.
room. Oh my god.
Oh, I have a game room. Yes, I am a gamer. As everybody knows, I'm an exquisite gamer.
I love that.
I have a Spider-Man vintage pinball machine. I have a Spider-Man vintage Sega arcade game, and then I have some of the one-ups. I have the Star Wars one-up and Miss Pac-Man, and we're getting Terminator 2, and we've got Rock Band in there. Haven't used it yet once, but I will eventually. We're still kind of moving things. I haven't put the sound system in yet, and I got to do that. Tony Fong for 100 Hong Kong dollars. DCU casting predictions. Timothy Chalamet as Superman. I agree with that. Harry Styles as Batman. I also agree with that. Dylan Mulvaney as Wonder Woman. By the way, I said analyst as analyst accidentally at class. That's good.
Perfect.
That is awesome. Remember, it's analyst. Now everyone's laughing at me. Thanks, Gary. You're welcome. I'm here to help.
Just lean into it. It's fine.
Lean into the analytics. Analyst. Sith cake for $50. Watching those actors was the most hilarious thing. They have never seen Star Wars, read a book or comic, or played a game. They are so clueless about Star Wars, and it was hilarious. I have excised DSW, Disney Star Wars, from my mind, and I'm enjoying actual pre-Disney Star Wars. Yes, we need to stop dead naming Marvel and Star Wars. If we're going to play by those stupid fucking rules, then that is dead naming. It is Disney Marvel and Disney Star Wars. Marvel and Star Wars died. Marvel in 2009, Star Wars in 2012. That is not even an argument at this point. I mean, we're 11 years in, and God, that's the strength of this brand, Chris. The strength of what George created in the 70s is unbelievable, because we still have people hanging out, hope that they're going to get good Star Wars someday, and bless them. They just want to be fans. They just want to enjoy shit. I'm fine with that. But dude, it's 11 years, bro. It's 11. I'm going to sound like Freddie Prinze Jr. Bro. 11 years, bro. 11 years. 11 years. It's time to, as Disney likes to say in Frozen, let it go. Let it go. I don't like the black pill things, but man, like choose your battles. Same goes with Star Trek. I like Picard season 3. I don't think Star Trek is saved by any means at all. I think it's deader than dead. And Doctor Who, it's not looking good, folks. Whatever glimmer of hope there was for RTD, quite frankly, which died on the first interview I saw while I was on a live stream. Oh, maybe things will be fine. And then I heard him on and it just died in that live stream, which is still on Nerdrotic Live. I was like, oh, no. Okay, no. RIP Doctor Who. Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. I love David Tennant. Like see Donna back and her daughter Rose. It's like, oh fuck. Oh well. Michael Tynan for $50, just a donation. Nothing to say. Thank you. Magnus Talk for $19.99. Gary, did you get an email from Big Chief? Sounds like they have finally finished the Roger Delgado doctor. Yes, I did. Because I couldn't give him a mass email. So I pinged them on Big Chief Studios is a 1/6 scale company that makes Doctor Who products. I have orders that are going on 3.5 years old. So I pinged each one with a message going, is this actually coming out? Is this actually coming out? Because I need to know, because I'm about to cancel everything. Because you know what? 3.5 years, a bit too long. I can honestly just get the refund. And if I see it on eBay and I still want it later, maybe I'll get it. But like, this is ridiculous, right? Because I'm at the point of forgetting. I've had to change my address there twice. Yeah, I don't know if I got the email or not, but yeah. But the problem is there's an older figure. There's a 4th Doctor figure that I've been waiting on since 2020. It's the later 4th Doctor from his last season. That's for Hot Toys. That's first world problems. I should just cancel the damn orders. I don't care. I tried to get out of a Jazz Inc. one because I got the 1966 Batmobile, Chris.
Oh my God.
Awesome. But I forgot it's been so long. I forgot I bought it. And they finally go, oh, it's ready for shipping. I'm all, what? Okay. I don't recall buying this. And and I did. I'm like, shit. You son of a bitch. What he does is he brings it up on a live stream and I'm, oh, gotta get it. And I'm like, I have no room for this thing. So I'm probably going to just flip it at this point.
You're going to flip it, huh?
I'm going to flip it.
How big is it?
It's a 1/6 scale. So it's about this big.
All right. Well, before you flip it, let me know.
I'll talk to you.
We'll talk.
Hey, by the way, Vegas. We got to talk about, I was supposed to bring something up with Vegas.
Millennium Fandom Bar, Instagram.
Yes. Okay. So first, we're going to have a raffle there like we do every year. And I'm bringing all kinds of cool, like I ordered accidentally an extra Star Trek The Motion Picture Kirk 1/6 scale. We'll be raffling that off. So stuff like that. We're going to have some art, some comics, some 1/6 scales, a bunch of double Doctor Who toys I have, whatever. I'm just going to go and give it away because why not? Yeah, so we have there's my Instagram at Nerdrotic, but there's also the Millennium Fandom Bar Instagram that my wife works on. So Mrs. Nerdrotic works on it. So if you could follow that, if you could put the link in.
I gave it to the mods. So
okay, there you go.
Appear soon.
Vegas meetup is the 26th of this month. I will be in Vegas starting the 21st through the 30th. So I'm going to be there all week. We're going to be doing stuff. We have the meetup. The very next day, we have Chrissy's show, which is basically going to be a meetup 2.0.
Yep.
And then we have Friday Night Tights in town. We do it at Sticky Paws. I got to talk to the Salty Nerd podcast guys because if we're going to, because they said we could use their studio. I found out like after I booked the appointment, but if we could use their studio, I mean, Geeks and Gamers would totally use that for Tuesday night main event. I'm just saying.
That's true.
But you know, and I could go, but we'll do other stuff. I mean, we walk around the strip and like people are welcome to join us because we just kind of walk around the strip.
Live stream,
be
silly,
wander in, be idiots. Yeah. And you're like,
steal Mark's leg.
There's also going to be CinemaCon, which I almost bought a ticket for, Chris. Fucking $1,500.
Shut the front door.
Yeah, no way.
I already have people hitting me up saying, I can get you into this party. I can get you into that party. I think if you just go, you'll end up being someone's plus one. I mean, I'm used to kind of being on the periphery, on the outside when it comes to big events like that. But I know if I hang out, I'll generally know someone that's there that can hook me up.
Like, so, I would be interested in going like a day. I mean,
let's do it. I guarantee I've already been,
it was like hitting $400. That's reasonable for a big show like that. It's still a lot of money, but $1,500? Are you kidding me? No.
That's for the whole week, right?
Yeah, you can't buy like single tickets. You have to register. Yeah, I looked. They're still available.
That is so
They're just
stupid.
really expensive. So yes, I am totally down to go for a day if we can get in. And I'm sure they would just love to see you and me there. That'd be great.
Let's go because Wednesday night is the Millennium Fandom thing. I think Friday is Chrissy. Let's go Thursday. Let's just go over there.
Thursday's
Chrissy, but we can go Thursday during the day. Is it a night?
During the day. That's what we'll do.
Is it a night event? Okay, because we can go. Yeah, because you'll be there later. So yeah, I'm down. I can even go Saturday because I'll be there Saturday. I don't know if it's going Saturday, but maybe no. I don't think it's going Saturday. I think it's like during the week. That's why I did. The only reason I did it this week was we wanted to separate ourselves away from Orlando. It was way too close. August, October, too close. So I'll be the one who moves. Plus, like August is pretty fucking hot and sweaty in Vegas. That's their monsoon season. So like, let's do spring where it's not the surface of the sun, still pretty hot. And that would be, and then I'm like, CinemaCon. Let's do it during CinemaCon. And maybe we can get Chris and Robert to go and other people. So that's the reason I decided. And Alex, who owns the Millennium Fandom Bar, is that cool Frenchman I've been talking about. He's fucking awesome. This guy's awesome. So they gave us the place this time. And how they make their money is you buy drinks. And I guess you guys bought enough drinks last time to were like, oh no, you can just have the place on Wednesday.
Garrett just drank the bar under.
Yeah. So fucking awesome. I can't wait. And it's the least we could do. We'll do other meetups for people who can't make it to Vegas. I understand like it can be expensive and it's not the right time, but we'll definitely be in Dallas. I'll be in San Diego with Chris, probably helping him pass around his Blu-rays. If you don't mind, I just invited myself to that, but
sure.
I'll be in San Diego for Comic-Con and then we'll be in the UK. So, and then of course, Orlando. But Millennium Fandom Bar, what's the @ on that? Is it just @ Millennium Fandom?
At Millennium Fandom Bar.
Okay.
Yeah. We're almost to 8K. Let's see. Let's refresh.
That's good.
We only need 52 more.
52 more to get to 8,000 followers. That's awesome. Well done, Mrs. Nerdrotic. Well done. And yeah, she's really good at the Instagram thing. She runs mine completely. So she's really, really good at it. Yeah. Eric Ubox for 5 British pounds says, hi, love all you guys. And X-Ray Girl, love the sweater. Beefcake.
I will watch the episode one day. I just liked it because he looked so cute on here.
Trevor, you are really?
Oh wait, what is a woman? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know. Chris, would you be willing to come up with a checklist or something / video that I could give my kids to be able to critique film / TV? I want to help them be able to critically think through the entertainment they're watching. Thanks. You should do a book.
Oh my God. That's such a big question. I could do an entire live stream just on that question alone. But I always introduced my kids to movies that provoked thought, because if you can teach your children to think for themselves, they're not going to be a carbon copy of you as long as you pass along your values. And you can definitely do that with, there's certain types of movies that I kind of knew like the ages at which my kids were kind of ready for certain things. Although my daughter was way more into horror than a lot of, kids her age. She was not particularly a girly girl. She liked like H.R. Giger, and she was into like seeing the original Alien. She loved that. My son was not into stuff like that. Just have different taste. But God, I need to know like more specifics, like the ages of your kids and kind of where they are. But there are definitely movies that I think are worth watching like with your kids because it provokes discussion and whatnot. I think I would just
lots of discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not really something that you can make a checklist on.
Yeah, it's hard. It's stage of life. It's like, your kid, and then you show them movies that they'll be changed by, movies that will, you know, kind of remember movies I saw that had when I was a kid that had such a profound effect on me, you know? So, God, that's a live stream, if not a regular ongoing show.
Yeah. Like, you know, I grew up on with my friend Doug Johnson. We watched Siskel and Ebert all the time because that's the only because that was the only time we'd get clips of our favorite movies. Like we'd see a clip of E.T. or Raiders of the Lost Ark or and we watched Entertainment Tonight and we endlessly discussed the stuff we watched and we read always.
Oh.
And then I stayed friends with Doug. My friend Jay came in and, you know, we were working at the warehouse and all we do is talk about music, comic books, and film all fucking day.
That's
every
cool.
day. And we went to the movies every Friday night and that's all we did. Like every fucking day. So it's having that discussion, being immersed in it really helps.
Yep.
Yeah, because I didn't go to any official training and learn how to sell comic books. The reason I sold comic books is I read as many as I could and I recommended the ones I liked. And then I learned through talking to my customers, actually, you know, having real conversations with them, finding out what they liked. It didn't always have to predicate like when somebody came in cold and said, I've never read a comic, I want to start somewhere. I'd start, okay, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite TV show? You know, what's your favorite color? Whatever. I'd start getting some basic questions and I'd point them to, because my job was matching you to your story, not my story, your story. So, you know, and I wasn't successful all the time, but I could get a feel for somebody and recommend, okay, so you're not in the superheroes, but you like pulp or something like that. Then boom, you know, I know where to take them. And that's the same thing goes with taste. You know, you just immerse yourself in it. You like what you like, but then it's, you know, not everybody has time, and that's understandable because you're living your life to understand why you like something, why you connect something with something, you know.
But also, Gary, like you understood the customer because you are the customer. Like you can't. This is why so many people in Hollywood are failing with these IPs. You can't sell something or be immersed in something you don't understand or don't even like yourself. And I knew I talked about this actually on Midnight's Edge earlier this week about a buddy of mine who had done a lot of work at Lucasfilm. And I was pumped. Before The Force Awakens came out, I was like everybody, like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. They're going to do it right. Everyone, I think, was optimistic and gave Disney the benefit of the doubt. And then a buddy of mine who'd done work at Lucasfilm said, I asked him, well, how do you think the movie's going to be? And he goes, I don't know that it'll be good with this team running it. And I didn't quite understand what he meant by that comment. And now I get it. I totally get it. Like the people that were put in charge are just corporate, you know, they could be doing this. They could be selling widgets, or they could work in textiles, or they could work in Bud Light marketing. Right. That woman, by the way, really interesting.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Doesn't understand Bud Light. First of all, I have never purposely drank a Bud Light. Bud Light is sort of like my go-to just with like light beer. I'm gonna have a Coors Light, whatever. It's like club soda with beer flavor. I don't care what I'm drinking right now. But I've never ordered it on purpose. It's kind of like when you're on a flight and you ask for a Coke and they say, is Pepsi okay? You know, like you just sort of like, fine, is Bud Light the only thing you have? I guess that's what I'm drinking. But I've never ordered it on purpose. But Bud Light also, to me, is a working class, blue collar beer. That woman has never stepped foot in a dive bar where Bud Light is one of the 4 choices of beers on tap. She's never been to a dive bar. They got to stop hiring these people that are so degreed. It reminds me, and by the way, Gary, I am a college dropout. All right. Who wrote a book that's required reading at film schools like NYU, the American Film Institute, among others. And I would give speeches at like the campus of USC. I would give a speech saying, I wrote a book, you're reading it, I'm a dropout. I really believe you could, with the exception of perhaps medical field, you can, and sciences, you can read books on how to start a business. I read a book when I was in college. I dropped out. I said, I can't work 3 jobs and go to school. I'm done. And I bought a book on how to publish a magazine, and I just did Film Threat, and I used money from my job to fund it, and then it started making money. But look, we live in a weird time where the person who understands the thing is much better than some Wharton College master's degree motherfucker. I'm tired of these overly educated, some of the smartest educated, so-called educated people I've ever met are some of the dumbest people I've ever met. And they want to throw around these, this is why I like to be in videos. I like to be very plain spoken, because I want everyone to understand what I'm talking about. I'm not going to throw around a $3 or a $10 word just to act superior to somebody else. Can't stand that attitude. So I've never been a big fan of academia and how they handle things. So when I saw a bunch of these videos and the Bud Light thing, it's just very important to look at that, because I don't think that woman working at Bud Light is any different than any person working in marketing at Lucasfilm right now.
You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
Eric July pointed out 2 years ago that Warner Brothers had brought in this 20-something girl. We don't want to say her name because we found it on LinkedIn, who was behind all of the marketing for Warner Brothers films. She didn't know shit about shit. She must have been somebody's kid, or, a Yale, freaking some Ivy League moron at this point.
Right.
And that's where the problem lies. That's where the activism comes in. It's coming in through these middle management positions.
Yes.
And the bankers they're in ivory towers, and they can give a fuck. They don't watch any of this stuff. They just look at the bottom line, and that's where the activism seeps in, and that's where we're getting it. Like Bud Light made a horrendous call. That is Gillette level shit right there. What they did. So, whatever. I don't even want to talk about that person. Like, I fucking can't. I'm just done. By the way, Dylan Mulvaney is a brilliant grifter. Like top tier grifter. Like, knows what he's doing. But people are just continuing to make somebody who's just eager for fame. That's all. Is willing to do just about anything for fame. Instead of, I don't know, be and they found their talent grifting. Like, instead of having an insightful commentary or being a talented actor, they found a way, and it worked.
And it's really annoying because it's like, that's a caricature of what a woman is. It's not how women act.
It's woman face.
Yeah, it is. I also, Dylan, when you've seen the other videos of him, did you see someone did a deep dive on his TikTok? If you look at the early TikTok videos he did, he's just trying to get traction for his TikTok. Yes. He just wants to be famous and find a way to make money using his personality. And if you look at him, I'm watching what is so familiar about Dylan Mulvaney? What's so familiar about him? Because I actually think he's entertaining. He's entertaining. What I think is just crazy about it is that he's pushing an agenda that I'm not. He's capturing a group of young kids not ready to make decisions that they're going to make. But look, you know what he reminds me of? Pee Wee Herman. If you look at the way he laughs, he has this laugh. He has this laugh. He reminds me of Paul Rubens when he did the Pee Wee Herman character in those. You go watch him now. He's sort of skinny. He even did that Price is Right video. He's doing Paul Rubens' dance from the Pee Wee Herman movie. So I'm looking, going, what's so familiar about this? And I'm thinking, you know what? That guy could just come to Hollywood, be entertaining. He'll be a B character in a sitcom.
Well, he failed in Hollywood. That's why he's doing this. He was there.
He was
there.
I mean, he could have become America's Twink, but he decided he wanted to be America's. No, I'm serious.
Now it's just annoying.
It is. It's annoying because of how insulting, it's Women's History Month and they're hiring men to do all of this stuff. It's insulting. And the fact that people like, what's that woman's name? She's on the Young Turks. I never watch the show. I only see clips when they go, Anna Kasparian, where she said, don't call me, a pregnant person, or what were some of the words, like just all the sort of dumb terminology.
Birthing person, yeah. Well,
Birthing person, that was
you
it,
mean
right.
the crowd that the Young Turks invited in? You let the wolf in the door. Deal with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Lady. Birthing person.
But the Bud Light thing is, to me, a cautionary tale. She should be fired immediately. There should be an apology, and we misunderstood. Otherwise, if they stick to their guns, that is a dead brand. The brand will be dead. No one is in their right mind. And it's not like, it's like you're going to see people, like you'll see someone drinking a Bud Light, because not everybody's aware. Not everybody's on social media and knows what's going on. But I guarantee at any bar across America, you see someone drinking a Bud Light, you're going to say, really? You're drinking that beer? Wait, what's wrong? And then once it's explained to them, this could kill that brand faster. She was like, oh, it's a brand on the decline. So what do we do? Inclusive? No, you don't. You lean into what the brand is.
Okay, your marketing person opened up with, it's a brand on the decline.
Yeah.
They should be fired right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad talking the brand.
It's a blue collar brand. And yes, it's frat kids because it's a cheap beer. You can get a 30 pack for
what a
$20
dumb
or
shit.
less. You take it to a party.
It reminds me of the prime minister or president or former one of New Zealand for some kind of skeletal looking and woke. Yeah.
Oh my God. It just that whole situation. By the way, sorry, I'm cooking in my kitchen now because I got to eat before my live stream. But if you don't mind hearing some weird cooking noises,
I don't care.
Yeah. So that case is so, like, watching it is really fascinating to me because this relates to everything you're talking about, Gary. It does. You have hired people who don't understand the audience. They don't understand the product. They don't there should be a different test, and it's not someone with a master's degree. It's, and that's where things really went off the rails when the quote surfaced about, when they were hiring writers for She-Hulk, if you had read the comics, it was a red flag. What are you talking about? Familiarity with the material is a benefit. And I don't think you're going to see people like James Gunn get hired again. Whatever you think about James Gunn, I think he's got a huge Herculean task. I think that whether he makes a good Superman movie or not might not even matter because the marketplace is kind of done. He's going to have to do something, first of all, to reinvent it to begin with. The best Superman movie has already been made. It was 1978, Richard Donner's Superman. How do you do that? But like looking at this Bud Light, everyone in every industry should be looking at who are the people that we're hiring, because degrees and so many people, God, when I dropped out of college, and recreationally would read business wonky books. I read books on fonts. I read book by George Ogilvy on Confessions of an Ad Man, and it was all about famous ad campaigns. So, whatever you think, I have the tools, because what do I do with Film Threat, my movies, whatever? I am doing marketing. I'm coming up with posters and trailers. I'm putting together all the material. And why? Because I recreationally read business stuff for fun. What'd you get? A Jamba Juice? Is that a Jamba Juice, Gary? What is that?
No, this is a blueberry smoothie my wife brought in.
Oh my God. Is it antioxidant? Is that what you're going
Yeah,
with?
it's got antioxidants in it.
It's the pre-Vegas diet.
There you go.
It's my lunch.
There you go. That works.
In a San Diego Chargers mug.
There you are. But I think the Bud Light, there is something that connects to what you've been talking about, what we've all been talking about, is the shepherds of these brands and the people making this content do not understand it. That applies to Rings of Power. It applies to the current state of Marvel and Star Wars. It just does. So
it does. And
Yeah.
it's got like protein, something in it. It's healthy. It's superfood.
You sound so excited about
I'm
it.
so excited. I haven't had bread in 4 weeks.
Gary, me too. I miss it.
I can't wait to get to Vegas when I can eat.
Pizza.
Yeah. Pineapple pizza. All right. Chris, do you need to go or are you good?
No, I mean, if you don't mind hearing the sounds of cooking
I
in the
don't care.
background.
Do you care, chat?
Chat said, "Go ahead, Chris, Chef Chris, Chef Gore."
Yeah.
Chris bringing a copy of Attack of the Doc for us to all watch together as a group in Vegas. I don't know, like it's going to be available when we're there.
We can literally just buy it for $15 and then watch it.
Yeah.
If they have a Roku box, it'll be on Vimeo.
We have a way to do that. Yeah, I mean, but I want to buy it. I want to buy a copy.
Wait, yeah. I mean, the Blu-ray will be out in July, so that's going to be a while. But just whatever your preferred platform is, I don't know.
So you ship to Canada.
The Salty Nerd podcast guys who have a super chat here. I'm going to read in just a second.
Oh, cool.
And the Popcast bros, tried to put something together that we announced.
Oh no!
And it got shut down by CBS.
What?
Oh no!
CBS, kiss my fucking ass.
I was wondering why the link didn't work.
Something different, and I'll keep you posted once they let me know. But yeah, it got shut down by good old CBS, who likes to shut down fan films, and they're fucking idiots. Davish for $19.99. Hey fellas, so there used to be a Clone Wars MMO run by Sony that ran from 2010 to 2014. 9 years later, the dedicated fans have an emulator in closed alpha testing. Clone Wars Adventures is coming back. The fans are winning. Oh, good.
Sweet.
Keep me posted on that. I mean, I won't play it, but I'm sure other people will. I was directed to oh my God, I'm blanking on the name now. God, I blanked on 2 names now. I'll figure it out later. It's not important right now. Salty Nerd podcast for $19.99. Our studio is open to you guys for sure. Passing that along to G&G as well. Our door is open. Can't wait to have you guys back in town. Cheers. All right. Can't wait to see you, man. And I will, I don't know if Jeremy knows that, and I don't know when they're getting there, but they could definitely probably use your studio for Tuesday night's main event, especially if some of them are going to be there. So we'll see what happens. The Grizzly and Hale, subscribe to the Salty Nerd podcast. Good dudes. And a lady. The Grizzly for $50. Part of the problem Chris is talking about is part of the culture war. The idea is to replace competency with compliance. Very good point. Why do corporations keep hiring Dylan Mulvaney? Simple. People who have degrees are more likely to be indoctrinated to the left.
Yeah.
It is about compliance. And we found out that there's a lot of people who are willing and able to be as compliant as possible. Jay Cha-Cha for $20. Gary, an X-Ray girl, bringing you both a carne asada burrito from Filiberto's before I hop on a plane to Vegas. Oh, hell yeah. Getting in, that afternoon for the meetup. I'll have to see your live stream to deliver it to you. Can't wait.
What day are you arriving is the question. Because I don't know if I want 2-day-old burrito.
A carne asada burrito, I'd eat that thing 5 days old.
Oh, really?
God, they're so good. The San Diego carne asada burritos are the best.
We'll have to try it.
Out there. I think Vegas might have a place. I know Arizona has a couple of Roberto's like restaurants that are just like the San Diego one. So props to Arizona for coming up on that.
Ooh.
Andrew Valdez, 2 parts for $10. Love you guys. If channel recommendations are not allowed, don't read my next chat. Thank you. They are. It's fine. Everyone should watch Laxadaisy in this age of just garbage from the mainstream. These indie projects deserve the money and time, and it's Laxadaisy. Absolutely. Shout out whoever you like, man. It's cool. Nisa Pisa? Is that?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Nisa for 100 Swedish krona. Thank you. Inboard for $5. Yeah, sorry, we didn't talk about the Marvels trailer. I had to take it out of the title. Totally forgot. I'm like, oh shit. The Marvels look like something from Asylum, not a $200 million movie production. Marvel should be embarrassed and rightly ridiculed for this. So I want to hear your thoughts, Chris, but real quick, I made a video. So Perry's working on it right now. So we can discuss it here, but I made a video, a trailer review. I didn't really do a reaction because of the Beastie Boys song in it, but that's sacrilege enough.
Dude,
But we found out why they put the Beastie Boys song in there. It wasn't for Intergalactic. It was for the line, "Don't ask me to smile."
right. God, dude, first of all, I saw you guys on the Real BBC yesterday talk about it, which you did a very thorough job. I mean, my thoughts are it didn't suck as bad as I thought it was going to be. She does actually kind of smile in the trailer. What was shocking was how dramatically different the tone was from Captain Marvel to this. I just think it's a Disney Plus show. But the other thing that stood out was how cheap everything looked. There's a scene where Ms. Marvel's in a hallway with the cat that looked like, who's designing this stuff? It looked like a carnival ride where they stopped the carnival ride and you look and you're like, wow, this is really unimpressive. It's just black.
That hallway looked like where you wait in line for a carnival ride.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It
was awful. I thought the trailer was terrible. I think the worst trailer I've ever seen for Marvel still belongs to She-Hulk.
Yes.
But remember when the first Ant-Man trailer dropped, and even the second one, it looked like, they're going for a more serious tone here. Nice Elton John song. And then we saw the movie. It was filled with Marvel humor. It was stupid. It was girl boss shit. Kang was dumb. Everything was dumb. And they, said socialism might be a charged word.
Right.
So, this trailer was the very first thing they wanted to show us. This is the best of this film. It was shit. It was total shit. It wasn't the worst shit. It was still shit. And yeah, they wanted to change Bree's personality because she had none in the first film. And it's been fucking 4 years since that. 5 years, right? 2018? Is it 2019? 2018? Whatever. It was before COVID. And she got demoted in her own sequel. She got surrounded by a diversity shield. And this is the best they had to offer? Really? Woman the Accuser, who that's her name from now on. I know she's a gender swapped, obscure character, Darben, from I didn't know. And I've read these comics and I didn't know. I had to get bounding.
Sorry, Gary. Sorry. I just got a weird email about HBO Max is changing their name to Max, and they're doing some huge WB event. I put the link in the private chat.
That is fucking stupid. Changing your name from HBO is fucking retarded.
Well, they're doing some major press event. You can see it at the link I just gave you.
Absolutely retarded. Home box office is the best name for your streaming service. Max? You're going to go with the offshoot? That's fucking terrible. Oh.
Well, it's an hour presentation. You might want to watch it. And then
all right,
literally just
throw the link in there. Let me get some soups.
Send it to me.
Oh my God. I saw Robert talking about it. I can't believe it. That's so fucking dumb. HBO has been the standard for prestige and now streaming television. They're the fucking standard. And you relabel Zaslav, you're being retarded, dude. You're being fucking retarded.
So is the replay there, or is it just available shortly? Because I guess the press event just ended, so he sent me the link.
Jay
also will be available shortly.
Coming from Arizona on Wednesday before meetup, so probably needs time. I don't know.
No, that's the burrito.
That's the burrito. All right, so let me see this link real quick. I mean, we can't watch the whole fucking thing.
No, yeah, but I mean, you could scrub through it and see what's in it. I don't know.
It's a minute 40. Oh.
No, I think the press.
So it's over. So it needs to process. To render. It needs to process and render. So we'll read soups. What a dumb idea. God, they're dumb. All right, Warner Brothers is still dumb. They're still dumb. Nerdrotic bro, you are hilarious. Says Matt Lewis for $2. I'll take that. It's unintentional most of the time, but if it makes you laugh, at my expense, I am totally okay with that. John Thomas for $10. Gary, was the old woman Ray talks at the end the same woman that warns Annie of the coming sandstorm, also was Bo-Katan bait and switch or Pablo being a pain on the set? So the latter is yes. I think Pablo was being a pain on the set. And I think Bo-Katan is absolutely a bait and switch. That's confirmed.
Yeah.
More than confirmed. This is her show now. And one of the directors said, well, we weren't specific with who the Mandalorian was. Fuck off. That is so
wow, really?
Audience. You fucking retard. Yeah. Fuck that guy. Gary was I don't know if that was the same old woman.
Similar, but I don't think it's the same.
Similar. Garrett Hayden for $1.99. How do I know if my script for a comic is good? Do you think it's good? That's the first. You just got to start writing and keep writing. I was doing a little studying on Robert E. Howard yesterday. That guy started writing when he was 15, or he got his first sold his first work at 18. But he was a machine. He was a writing machine. The guy killed himself when he was 30, and look at how much shit he wrote.
Also, there's a book I would recommend. Stephen King also wrote when he was a kid. He just wanted to be a writer. I mean, he was writing stories when he was like 14 that were getting published. Okay. He wrote a book that you can find it. You can also find it in audio form. It's called On Writing. And all it is essays by Stephen King about writing, how he got his first jobs, his philosophy about storytelling. It's a great book. Whatever you think about, I think Stephen King, I just wish he wouldn't write on Twitter. Such a shit poster. You know? It's just really unnecessary. But like look, it's undeniable, his work. But that book On Writing, strong recommendation for any writer of any type of writing.
Fox Streamlabs, 3 parts for $15. Number 1. Ex-Doctor Who fanatic, classic and reboot series, consumed countless novels and audio stories. Who has been watching you since early 2019? I've generally only stuck to manga, anime, since my favorite Western franchises destroyed themselves due to your video streams. I've read through The Hobbit for the first time, and the start of this year, I am currently on the start of as of the start of this year, I'm currently on the start of 2 Towers and loving it. Also picking up Star Trek, the original series 50th anniversary TV movie collection for about $40 on eBay. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
I'm partway through season 1 and I am fully engrossed. Even as someone coming into these franchises fresh and blind, I'm amazed at how timeless they are. Take this as a thank you for being the main force to eventually get me to give them a chance. Oh, I'm glad you did. Glad you did. I think they're totally different TV shows, but I think if you like Doctor Who, you're going to like Star Trek, the original series. You just are. I think they're complementary, although completely different. Yeah. The future is the past right now. The future is the past.
We're living in a weird time, Gary. I really do believe that there are, I think I mentioned the Justine Bateman essay, The End of Art. She goes on to say that she's researching what happened before the Dark Ages to like, what were the sort of key events that led to the Dark Ages? Because she's been saying, and I even saw Eric July mention something similar, that like creatively, we may be entering a dark age when everything is based on a pre-existing IP or a prequel, requel, reboot, like there's just nothing new being created on a mass scale. And also, do you remember when we were united even just by music? If there was a pop song that resonated with people, I mean, I feel like I lived through some really great eras of music, but the stuff that's popular now, that is popular on a so-called first of all, I question if it's actually popular, right? But that sort of broad, I think there's so many different slivers of the pie in terms of genre of music. There used to be like, here's your classic station, here's your rock station, here's your jazz station, music is just all over the map. And it's not as if good stuff is not being made, but it's not bubbling to the top where everyone can agree that they like a particular thing. So I don't know what your thoughts are.
As far as music, I think it's scattered now. It's still good.
Yeah.
And it's still attracting like talented musicians and people who are passionate for music. But I think they're seeking different things, which we might get a better brand, but we're never going to have what we had in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s is one place to go find all the best stuff. I think it's going to be very regional.
Right.
We don't have a centralized location. I'm totally okay with that, by the way. But I also, I think what happens now is the bigger industries always attract the bigger talent.
Right.
So when basketball got more popular, it started attracting more talent, which actually took away from American baseball. American baseball went international and all of a sudden revitalized themselves by going international. For a while, the NFL was getting the best talent, but now that talent is getting poached by the NBA because of the longevity of career, better contracts, and you're not getting your head fucking beat in. There's a finite number of talent. That's what I'm saying. For any industry, for any sport, for making movies, for making music, for anything, there's a finite number of talent, and that talent gets watered down. It gets watered down, and it makes the industry less interesting. Music is now almost back to the Wild West, but it's so fractured. I guess where does anybody go? Like, I don't know if Spotify is bigger than iTunes, and it's just so easy to get whatever you want to hear. So I would say it's still evolving, but in a completely different. You're not going to have like stadium bands and shit. You're still going to have few festivals. But I looked at I'm also getting old, so I'm not as tuned into music as I used to be. I used to be very, 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 very tuned in. But I look at fucking Coachella, and I'm like, that's your headliner, really?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I will say actually, there is a concert that's coming that's touring over the summer and into the fall that I really want to see. Death Clock is coming back.
No shit.
Yeah, Death Clock, Metalocalypse, and they're paired with I know this band. It's a Japanese heavy metal band called Baby Metal.
Melissa loves
Baby metal.
Oh,
that's cute.
So Google it. Like their tickets coming close to you, Gary. I think they're coming to San Antonio. It's the Death Clock Baby Metal tour, and they're coming to Texas.
I'd go see that. I'd go see that. I would.
Yeah, I needed some code to get the tickets. I mean, I'll get whatever. I just want to go, but it's in October in LA, but I think sooner for you. But yeah, that is a concert. Baby Metal is the best.
August 31st for Dallas.
I was really into music till about 10 years ago, and it was like,
yeah,
I had my run. I'm good. I just listen to just metal pretty much all the time now. I liked Ghost. I like their theatrical stuff. They're pretty cool, although they're not like true metal, Iron Maiden or Dio.
But man, that show Metalocalypse was so good.
It was great. It was great.
So bizarre, so over the top. And I've seen Death Clock in concert before. I saw them in LA at the Wiltern, which is a great classic theater, just around downtown. That Death Clock in concert was just freaking fantastic. The other thing that was cool about it was the merch was really good, because it's all Metalocalypse stuff. Yeah, I loved it. They had
check the private chat. Don't say anything now.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, while I've been doing the show, although right now I've been eating, I have texted all my friends who tried to get tickets through GoFobo. 0, gone. You can get on a wait list. So I'm probably just going to show up and show up to when the screening is going to happen, just to see if I can does anyone have a +1? Did their friend not show up?
Okay.
Is there any way to get in? I mean, there's no way for me to get tickets. What can I do?
There's nowhere. I'm just going to watch at my home theater. I'm not going to drive 5 hours to Dallas.
Well, it's in Burbank for me, so I'm going to go to Burbank.
That's like you can hop on your bicycle.
Yeah.
Bicycle. Do you even own a bicycle?
I own a bicycle. I have
go.
a Ahan. It's a foldable bike.
Oh, sweet.
Oh.
Those are cool. Look up Daehan. It's a great. You can wear it as like a backpack.
Thoughts on fitness with Nige for $4.99. Gary, what have you done? You got me collecting again. I had a comic shop back in the late 70s, early 80s. So stopped collecting in 1989. Then you. Well, I'm not sorry. I almost left the theater watching Indy 4 the second it hinted at aliens, but I drove with a friend to see it. I suffered through that abomination. The Nerd there for $5. Yeah, that was just fucking terrible.
I only saw it once in the theater and I fell asleep.
And
I
Spielberg
remember hating it.
Spielberg tried and tried to talk George out of it. Tried and tried. He's all, you sure? Aliens?
I'm glad I didn't watch it then.
Kevin Willis for $5. Also love Picard season 3. Would never have watched it if it wasn't for you. Also was happy to avoid seasons 1 and 2. Again, thank you. Thank Terry Metalis.
Yeah.
Andrew Matthews for £5 British. Hashtag justice for Mantifa. X-Ray sells her loyal servants.
Yeah, I made a Tifa that was a gender swapped, race swapped. Yeah. So I called him Aunt Tifa. Also known as Mantifa.
Like Aunt Tifa?
Yeah, Aunt Tifa.
I feel like that's who Marvel makes everything for, is Aunt Tifa. She works in HR and she protests on the weekends, drinks box wine, and lives vicariously through her nieces and nephews who she really doesn't like. I came
right.
1906 for $5. Watch the Marvels teaser. It feels like Marvel's gone from comic book based / fan driven to just generic lifestyle brand that rips off other genres. Kane, it's very interesting that you point that out, because when Sana Amanat, who created Miss Marvel, which totally isn't a self-insert, said publicly that Marvel was turning into a lifestyle brand. And she's one of the executives. Also has ties to the Obama family. There you go. Dead Eye Max for $10. Gary, my mom translates French for a living. She's French, lived in America for 30 years, and she would love that job. How do I get in contact with you and toss you her resume? Well, let me get it together, because I got to find out if we can get some publishers to translate some stuff over here and convince them that it would make them money. That's the thing I got to do first. But if we keep me in mind, send me the resume, Gary at nerdrotic.com. Because I mean, this might be a job that's too big for me, but if I can help, at least make it happen, so I can buy more French comics, because it's totally selfish.
It's leaving money on the table, really.
It's leaving money on the table. Manga is exploding right now, and I think if you brought more bande dessinée, had bande dessinée sections, in what's left of bookstores. I mean, I got a big old. People still shop here. I got a big old mall near me. The thing is, pretty busy. And it's got a big old Barnes & Noble with a huge manga section. It is bigger than any comic or graphic novel section I have ever seen in my entire life.
That was the video you made, right? That you showed us?
Yeah. There was 35 shelves of manga. 35. From floor to the top, from top to bottom, not like a half shelf. And then there was 6 half shelves for American stuff. Aurora Uplinks for $10. I am always pitching my script a red light. I sent to Disney. Hope they make it. Oh, they'll just steal it. They'll make it and not give you shit. Hope everyone goes to see it when they get a chance. Gave it to Disney free. I need the writing credit more. Okay, well, if it's for free, I hope somebody else makes it, to be honest with you, but I hope you get your script made. Boog for 25 Mexican dollars. Any thoughts on the upcoming FNAF movie? Is FNAF? What's FNAF?
I have no idea. Cat, help me out.
Oh, Friday Nights at Freddy. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy by Blumhouse in partnership with the Henson Company. I'm a little excited about it now. Five Nights at Freddy. My kid loved that game. So I think Blumhouse doing it with the Henson Company is interesting. So I'm intrigued. We'll say, I'm intrigued. Chris, if you need to go to your stream, it's cool.
Yeah.
He's making.
We should do an experiment.
Of what?
We should see if I can be on 2 streams at one time. I've never done that.
I think it'd be fine because you don't use your cam here.
I'm not using my cam. I would use. Should we experiment and try that? Could I be like with Alan and the one stream live with my face, and then Anna? I mean, I've never seen anyone do that. Should we see if that's even technically possible?
I think it'll be a hot mess, but we can try it.
Yeah, I'll kind of be on stream with my supposed dad.
Yeah. Well, let me get a few things said. I have to.
Let me read some.
I'll stay. Yeah, read some soups. Let's actually try it.
Let's do it.
This will be a weird thing. It's like a collision. I don't know. Am I going to go to a mirror universe and it'll be evil Chris?
It'll be echoey. I'm sure.
A film threat nooner.
Maybe you'll you'll have a goatee.
Dude, let's okay. All right, give me a minute, but like go ahead, read some soups, and I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna move my computer in the other room. This will be fun.
I will. Julian C21 for $20. There's a band called Ice Nine Kills. 2 of their albums are based on horror movies and their performances are very theatrical. However, their sound is very modern metalcore, so you probably wouldn't be into it. Yeah, I'm not into them. I'm just old now. I'm fine with that. There's certain I like my metal old. I like it not overproduced. That overproduced stuff sounds like video game music to me. Okay, it just does. Some of it's good. There is some that kind of rises above, but yeah. God, so many people are trying to call me right now. It's like I'm on a live stream. I don't recognize that number. That's Northern California. That's San Rafael. I wonder if Tesla's calling me. Probably
want you back.
I know. Linus for $1. X-Ray Girl, you single? No, she's married. I'll answer that question.
Thank you.
She's married to Mark the Cyborg very happily.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, simps. She'll still accept your simp. But,
yeah, of course.
Pyro Rompo for $10. Hearing anyone can be the Mandalorian reminds me of anyone can be Spider-Man. No, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And people who watch The Mandalorian to see The Mandalorian. I agree. Which was a knockoff Boba Fett to begin with. Inject some common sense. What's up? How you doing? No more proper member streams. Sad, I missed them. Thursday.
Tomorrow.
I got to fight. I don't know the time yet because it has to be before I go back to the dentist for one quick checkup, but it'll be tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Ade Robinson for $4.99. Gary, have you announced the UK dates? Yes. The dates I'm going to be there, but not the specific dates for the meetup. So to give you guys an idea so you can plan, it will be during the week of September 3rd through 10th. September 3rd through 10th. I'll get you an exact date, probably after Vegas. One meetup at a time. JRG, but it'll be shortly after Vegas. JRG projects for $10. I just got the Hero Collector's USS Orville. I have to tell you, growing up with Star Trek in the 90s as a kid, the Orville made me cry. Picard season 3 is great, but Captain Mercer is on another level. Yeah, because I mean, it's different. Like I said, Terry Metalis was able to put together scraps in a cave. Calvin Dodge for $5. Fetch me the comfy chair. Fluffy pillows. Will Davies for $20. The internet destroyed the ability for most kids of music to become popular. Popular music is minimalistic and generic because it's easy to compare to other things people already like, making it easy to popularize through Spotify. Good point. I mean, the video killed the radio star, right? Paulus Plain for 100 Norwegian krona. Chris Gore, please compare and contrast the Bud Light woke scandal with the rest of the entertainment, which he did. He did that. You already got it. News complex. Thank you. Good news or bad news? Well,
Bad news for Bud Light.
It's bad news for Bud Light, and it's bad news for the corporate media complex constantly being exposed. But they're dying. It's a 20th century model that's dying. Aurora uplinks for $10. The issue Kathleen Kennedy is making is she is fighting standard generic instinct for most viewers. Women want to be stronger than other women, but to find men stronger than them. It's instinctual urges for humans. And it's completely antithetical. And it kills the verisimilitude when you can guess there'll be a girl boss in this scene. Oh, there's Jack Black with Lizzo, but she'll be the one making decisions. Oh, here comes Bo-Katan. It's just a matter of time till he hands over that dark saber. Like I'm surprised it took as long as it did for it to happen.
Gary, maybe when they say the Mandalorian, they mean the people, the Mandalorian, like saying the Jews. It just means everybody. So when they say the show is the Mandalorian, it's like these people. They are kind of a displaced people, right? Wouldn't they be?
They are, but it's so vague what the lore and the rules are, and they're just flat out dumb. The great warrior Bo-Katan, sends a scouting mission backed up by her entire fleet that can easily be destroyed now because she put them all together. What a fucking moron!
Oh my god! So I just sent a tweet out that I'm starting my stream. I'm still on this stream, and can I go? We're gonna experiment. Can we cross the streams?
Can we cross streams? I don't know.
I want to see if I can be on my show and your show at the same time. I don't know if this is even, can it happen? I just plugged into my Ethernet. I have a different setup in this space.
How are you going to hear Alan?
I can hear Alan, but you'll hear Alan.
We'll hear Alan?
I don't, because you'll hear it through my audio, right? It'll come from my computer. Like I've never done this. I'm going to go to my stream that is scheduled. That's the name of my stream is More Mando, More Problems. Okay. So
More Mando, More Problems.
More Mando, More Problems.
Love it. Oh my gosh.
I'm just going to continue this conversation. So let's see. Are my settings the same? Yeah. I'm using the same mic, the same. Okay. So I'm entering the studio. Alan is there. I see Alan. Okay, I don't think Alan can hear you. That might be the problem. But let me
the problem. 69.
69. All right. Hey, Alan, can you say something? Can you guys hear Alan?
Alan, can you? Oh wait, no, I can't hear him.
You can't hear Alan?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm on the Nerdrotic Nooner, and I'm on this show.
There we go.
I'm gonna we haven't gone live yet, but I wonder, Gary, do you think should we try this? I mean, I could just bail, so you can end the show, but this is weird. I see on another screen there's
for a little while, but I gotta read super chats, and if Alan can't hear my super chat,
all right. Well, I'll mute you. I'll start my show while you're reading super chats, and I'll come back when we've started our show.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on. So the Film Threat live stream is going to start in about 1 minute. I don't know. It's just interesting to see what happens, right? No one's done this. This is a YouTube first, folks.
Oops. I checked that Warner Brothers thing. It's still not.
No. Oh, that sucks.
What we can talk about, you're going to hear music. Steve Deace's Nefarious comes out in a couple days.
Oh yeah, you said you were excited about it, right? I think.
Yep. So it's about a guy who's on sentence to death, and he's getting I'm going to describe this badly, but what I got out of it is he's possessed by a demon. And when does it come? It comes out in 2 days, I think.
14th.
On the 14th. Yeah. On the 14th. So this is it's an independent film. It's from Steve Deace. And we will be covering it in the very near future. The very near future. I don't know if we oh, there's the trailer. We probably watch the trailer in a little bit, but I got to get to some soups. But nefarious. I'm gonna see if it's. I got to see if it's in theaters near me because I want to see it in the theater. I promised. He asked me to review it, and I will buy a ticket and review it. That was my thing to do. But we'll talk about that. I heard he was in the hospital recently, but I guess he's out now. So I hope he's okay. I hope Steve's doing okay. Aurora uplinks She Wars for $2. Somebody said Star Whores in there too. Where's Star Whores? There's Star Whores from Daniel Kretz for $5. I think I'm gonna do the PG version of Star Whores. I actually did Star Whores before. I mean, that goes way back to my Rise of Skywalker stuff. So I just brought it back. Sir Marhouse for $4.99. Gary, I'm trying to find bande dessinée in French. Je parle Francois, but I can't find it. Advice best I can see is French Amazon. Yeah, it's French Amazon, and the Amazon has some of them in French. They do. You just got to do some digging. But I'll hit up Razor Fist. I'll ask Razor Fist. I'm sure a local comic shop can order some stuff for you too. But I will find out. Fearless Leader for $100. Thank you, Fearless Leader. I'm in the middle of research project on identifying politics and entertainment. Do you have any sources with statistics and articles on the wokeness in the industry failing, corporate greed leading to franchises being ruined or former fans turning to alternatives? Data. Do we have data?
Okay, Gary, I'm on the Film Threat live stream right now on our channel. I can hear you fine. I don't think Alan can hear you, but we need better audio, but I guess you can cross streams. I don't know how practical this is. This is a weird thing. So I'm actually doing Film Threat right now. We've never done this. It was bound to happen.
Crazy. Hey, Chris would be a good person to ask. Do we have any data? I mean, aside from the data we see, or statistics on articles, the wokeness in the industry is failing, corporate greed leading to franchise being ruined, or former fans turning to alternatives? I
don't know that there's any. Someone should compile that data, because I've often asked, like, is there data that proves certain types of movies are financially successful and certain movies that do certain things are financial flops? I think that someone should do that research. But I think I don't know if this is really working, because I know Alan can't hear you. You can't hear Alan.
Can't hear. And I got to finish these super chats.
Yeah, you got to finish the super chat. I'm going to start my stream. Hopefully, if people want to continue the conversation after you're done with the soups or when you end your show, come on over to Film Threat. We'll be talking about similar stuff. But this is weird, dude. We
so
crossed
weird.
the streams.
Streamception.
We crossed the streams. It's bizarre.
All right.
Oh, Alan says hi.
Hi, Alan69.
Hi, Alan.
Cool. All right. Take care, everyone. Film Threat. Check out Attack of the Doc. I will talk to you soon, and I'm going to see you in Vegas. All right. Take care, man.
Bye.
Later.
Chris Gore. Attack of the Doc. Prayer 247I for $10. Gary, check out Sleep Token, the summoning, especially. Okay. I'll write it. I'll put it in my little notes. Aurora uplinks for $10. Story pitch: a separatist faction survived all the time past Return of the Jedi, and they came back for a film trilogy to destroy the Empire and Republic, both with new Terminator style droids. That would be a good, like, Infinities, like alternate universe. That sounds cool. The ship has sailed on fixing Star Wars, unless you recap. Like, you're gonna have to remake it. Then that's what they're going to do. Take it to the bank. Disney will remake the original trilogy. It will happen. And it will suck. Joseph Dots for $4.99. A Girl Alexy Far, Far Away. You're welcome. It's a very small galaxy, by the way, incidentally. Aurora uplinks. Kind of weird that suddenly in Indiana Jones, a bunch of communists led by a woman intent on fighting men with a sword and telepathic powers to read minds, learns secrets, but how to blackmail them. Yes. Talking about Crystal Skull. Allie Wells, thank you for the $4 and for the $2. PMS Wars. Aurora Uplinks again for $10. Well, I am just saying Kathleen Kennedy's talent for somehow pissing off the people arguments, interrupting plans to create good stories, ruining Iger's plans, and knowing how to blackmail would explain a lot. It would. It really would. I just think I mean, it's the simplest answer. They're afraid to fire her. She should be fired. I mean, she's as much as people deny it, the merchandising has been halved. So you don't lose half of your shit and expect it. Oh, that's fine. Well, that's good. No, there was no reason. Star Wars is a fucking layup. They had to try really hard to fuck up what they fucked up. You have to think about it really hard to not put Han, Luke, and Leia together in a scene. Eric K for $2. Imagine releasing all of the Lord of the Rings R&B vids with it. The R&B,
the interviews,
all the special features that are on the DVD or the Blu-ray. It's on the Blu-ray set. That are fantastic. That'd be a long one. You'd be in there for a couple days.
Worth it though.
Yes, it would. Yeah, because it's basically how to catch lightning in a bottle. That's how it is. Yes, I am literally saying the woman in the Crystal Skull is inspired by Kathleen Kennedy, and George is being sassy and warning everyone in the film like he always does. Yeah, that was well. When did that come out? 4 years before they bought Lucasfilm, maybe, but he handpicked her. He did. Love seeing old movies in the theater, but I think she turned on him as soon as she went because he thought he would be able to control her, and guess not. Love seeing old movies in theaters during 2020. The theaters were struggling, and my buddy rented out a theater to watch our favorite movie, The Thing.
That's a good
Final
movie.
Morpheus for $4.99. Yeah, that would have been awesome. I just got Shout Factory's killing it, dude. So I got They Live on 4K and Bubba Hotep in 4K with posters. Posters I will be giving away at the meetup.
Bubba Hotep. I think I have to add that to the list. Then.
Bubba Hotep. Bruce Campbell playing Elvis. And oh my God, I'm blanking on the other actor's name. I'll get it for you.
I also think it's really cool because a lot of the old movies I was either not interested, not allowed, or not aware. I would love to see that in theater.
Bruce Campbell plays Elvis. Ozzie Davis, the elderly black actor, plays John F. Kennedy. And they're fighting an Egyptian mummy. So
okay.
It's a crazy movie. It is great. I freaking love it.
Elvis and JFK.
Elvis and a body swapped JFK.
So it's a funny movie then.
It's
like a comedy.
Funny horror. So
Funny horror. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Bubba Hotep is a classic. Such a great movie. I wonder, will they rename Lord of the Rings to the Rings of Power on the book someday? And the movie, maybe someday they will change the author too. They can't.
No.
I'm sure they'd love to if they could. Brian Doyle for $4.99. Bra Wars has a nice ring to it. Hail. Aurora Uplinks again. Obi-Wan should have been about Bail Organa primarily and about the power dynamics on Alderaan between his cousins. Leia kidnapped by one of them. Yeah, and just call it Bail Organa or Alderaan and not Obi-Wan. Make it two separate shows as it should have been. Stifler's dad for $1.99. Staff of Kings. Indy looks for Moses' staff. Yeah, like Spear of Destiny, Moses' staff. There's so many more artifacts they could look for, and it doesn't have to be from Christianity or Judaism. It could have been something else, you know. Like I said, Atlantis would have been the big one. Atlantis would have been cool. Aurora uplinks. The upset Bale and his wife adopted the heir. The Imperials are called on to help blockade the system and find her. She shows us politics and corruption. Maybe stop it off at Luke and Obi-Wan scenes. Sam people having to negotiate with the possibility they fought, show us gangsters and desert crimes. Yeah, I mean, you put more thought into it than they did, my friend. You put way more thought into it than they did, and that's why they don't deserve you anymore. Disney, and when we were talking about the access media earlier, they chose a side. They decided to tell you to fuck off and start making shit for each other. Like Disney started making stuff for the access media, so they'll start pushing the activism and vice versa. It became a very, very symbiotic relationship, which it didn't used to be with the media. The media used to, call out, not all the media. Some of the media has always been in the pocket of the corporations, but some legitimately tried to call, this whole truth to power shit. That's what they were supposed to be about. They're not. They're supposed to be out for you. They're not. They chose a side a long time ago, and that's why they're dying. And see ya. That's all I got to say. Rooster Cogburn for $4.99. $300 million for a de-aging is money well spent. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has never looked better. Terrifying. HBO slate looks great. Potter Show, Game of Thrones prequel. Suck it, Disney, says Alon Abadi, because I can't read. Sorry. Thank you for the 15 shekels. And yeah, their slate is better. HBO Max, HBO is a better. It's like I probably watch the most stuff on that. It's the best streamer. Hammer Down Protocol for $20.49 for 15 British pounds, proper money. Making your own contribution to the culture is easier than ever. Hollywood quality VFX are now accessible to everyone with decent PC, Unreal Engine, free, blending 3D software, free. Bring it down. Bring it down. Calix for $6.63. Nerdrotic. I am born in 89 and I am old. Are you older than me? The media landscape has changed. Peace out. A lot older. I was 19 in 89. So Paula Plain, one for 100 Norwegian krona. Nerdrotic factoid. In real life, armed forces of Ukraine have the Punisher patch all over the front lines. Disney are playing with fire. Slava Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. There you go. I hope the war ends. I'm just not a war guy. Not really into the proxy war, military industrial complex, Bush, Cheney, Clinton, Obama shit. I think it's all fucking evil. But the innocent people and everything, I just want it.
It sucks for them.
Peacefully, yes. Star Wars Celebration had 20,000 on a live stream. Has FNT beat that? Patrick Lemire for $1.99. No, I have personally beat that, but FNT has not.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady. I'm not going to combine Rumble because that's cheating. So the most we have had on a live stream was, I can't even remember.
We're so close to 16 once, I think.
No, we broke 16.
Was it with the?
It was 18. That's our
18.
record.
Okay.
18 our record.
Alex, right? Was it?
It was Alex was the first record. No, Critical Drinker was like the second because it was during Rings of Power. Rings of Power, we were getting like huge numbers during Rings of Power.
Yeah.
We're getting like 350, 400,000 views on Friday Night Tights episodes. And but 24,000 is the record for the channel, and that was after Game of Thrones.
Dang.
Tyler Fulcher for $10. Watch the clips of Big Bang Theory with the laugh track removed. It's just sad. Ooh, I might actually watch those. Nikolai Popovs for 2 British pounds, 49 pence. I am a nerd and don't ever change. Rhino Helix for $10. East Coast will help you not be nice. West Coast will be nice, but not help you. New Yorkers call you stupid while changing your tire. LA folks will say sorry for your bad luck and they drive by. Yep. I totally agree with that sentiment. The Penguin teaser just released. It's giving Boardwalk Empire vibes and the long-awaited True Detective Season 4 trailer. Oh, wow. Who's in True Detective Season 4? Elliot Cecil for $5. Who's in it this year? I got to look it up. Nothing will ever match the first season. Oh, it's Jodie Foster. Yeah, not interested. Hunts a serial killer in rural Alaska. Yeah, it might be good. You never know. Season 1 of True Detective is a perfect season of television. It is beautiful. Chris Lanier for $10. Looks like Drunk and Egg may be headed our way. Fingers crossed. Or Dunk and Egg. Dunk and Egg. Why did I say Drunk and Egg? Fingers crossed have as good as House of the Dragon. Oh, there's a Deadline article.
Do you want that?
I got it.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
I'll read one more maybe while you're doing that.
Yeah,
Killer 8000 for $2. Flashier is better than Cheers.
Oh, this got a series order. Like, it's done. It's happening. This is okay. Well, I mean, this is kind of an easy one, to be honest with you. I don't know why I haven't done this sooner. But this is your Blackfire Rebellions right here. Game of Thrones, Dunk and Egg prequel, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight gets HBO series order. And it's a damn good story. Holy shit. So it's ordered. Another Game of Thrones series on the way. HBO announced during the Warner Brothers Discovery Max presentation Wednesday that it is giving a series order to A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, based on George R.R. Martin's Dunk and Egg fantasy novels. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this is why this is very, very, very bad news for you if you're waiting for Winds of Winter. You want to know why it's very, very, very bad news? Because this is an unfinished book series. He still has one more, The She-Wolves of Winterfell, which is the final book. And somehow you need to find out what happens at Summerhall. If you don't know what happens at Summerhall, well, it's a tragedy. And that's all I'll say. But this is a Lone Wolf and Cub, if you're not aware of this story at all. Sir Duncan the Tall is a very tall knight and possible descendant of the Lady of Tarth. And Egg is Aegon V, who at the time wasn't expected to ascend the throne and basically became a squire to a hedge knight. Shaves his head so he doesn't look Targaryen. And it's a lone wolf and cub in the Seven Kingdoms. They're short novellas and they're very good. And what they do is they tell the story of Bloodraven, who is my favorite character in all of A Song of Ice and Fire. Bloodraven is a three-eyed crow, by the way. But when he was younger, and he's an albino bastard Targaryen. But it tells of the Blackfire Rebellions, which is an offshoot line of the Targaryens. And yeah, looks like it's happening. But George ain't finishing that book. So there you go. So I don't think they're backing off on Game of Thrones at all. Doesn't look like they're backing off on Game of Thrones.
Well, it's making the money.
Well, yeah. So what will be interesting in those series will be there's no dragons. The dragons are gone by then, but there will be lots of magic. There'll be lots of werewood because of Bloodraven. So we'll probably see a lot more Bloodraven, which would be kind of rad. He uses werewood arrows. And he's an albino. He's basically Elric. So there's lots of Elric in A Song of Ice and Fire, and George has never made a secret of that. The Targaryens are practically based all on Elric. So, yep. Nick Harrigan artwork for £5 Indy 5 is looking terrible, and PWB is front. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is front runner to direct James Bond. Have you seen the rumored casting for M? God help us, another dead franchise. Yeah, James Bond's dead. The Dark Ages was caused by colder weather, just like the Age of Enlightenment was brought on by warmer weather, longer growing seasons, more food, more time to think and ponder, says Shock 2957 for $9.99. You are absolutely correct. You are singing the praises of Randall Carlson right there. Randall Carlson, who we're going to see in Asheville, North Carolina. I have to do something to fix the affiliate link on something. But
I already did it.
You did it? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the order.
So we are going for our Forbidden Frontier show, which I do with Adam Krigler and Quarterback Garrett. We are going, Garrett and I, and possibly Adam, are going to Asheville, North Carolina in June to go see the Cosmic Summit and see Graham Hancock, Randall Carlson, and Jimmy from Bright Insight speak. And it's sold out, but you can watch it via live stream, and we have an affiliate link to do that. We'll also be doing interviews from the show. So if you're into our Forbidden Frontier show on Sundays on Nerdrotic Live, that's what we're doing. So and that's going to be the week
June 16th and 17th.
After Dallas Fan Expo or before? I can't
remember. Think it's that.
It's the week before, because it's, or is it after? I can't remember.
This is June 16th. I don't remember when Dallas is.
Dallas is after that.
Okay.
What's before that is Contact in the Desert in Palm Springs, which we'll be at. Busy June.
Wait, this is June 16th, right?
Quentin Collins for $10. Short notice, Gary, but Robert E. Howard's Days is being held in Cross Plains, Texas on the 28th and 29th of April. Oh, shit. I'll be in Vegas.
Oh no!
I'm there twice. Great experience for the Robert E. Howard fans. I'm going on my way out to Vegas. We're going to the museum. We're going to hit the museum.
And what's it called? The Cosmic
Summit?
No, what was it? The crater.
Oh, Meteor Crater.
Meteor Crater. Like it's so simple.
We're going to be hitting Meteor Crater in Arizona too. It's a big hole. Fucking awesome. You get to see, they have a big meteor there. It's not the one that hit, but somebody donated it. It's just a big chunk of metal.
It just brought a meteor from another meteor crater over.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
The whole museum. It's a really good, it's worth the trip. It's absolutely worth it. You see, I mean, it's the most well-preserved meteor crater on Earth. Like it looks like it landed, not too long ago, not 50,000 years. There you go. It's a preserved hole. That's what it is. Nate the Scott, what's he doing? For £5 rewatched all of Friends during lockdown. Every single character except Joe had some point screws another friend for selfish reasons. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's like a soap opera. I've been into soap operas. Like, I used to watch with my grandma, like Santa Barbara and Days of Our Lives and stuff. I used to watch them and get into them. Nothing wrong with that, but Friends repulsed me in every way. I was way too cool for Friends. Maybe not, but I thought that. I was in my
Lone Wolf.
Okay? It was the 90s, man. I had hair down to my butt. David Talari for 11 Canadian pesos. Back in the day, we had Wonder Woman. Now the MCU wonders, what is a woman? Elliot Cecil for $5. Has Hollywood lost original ideas? They're rebooting the Harry Potter franchise in series format. So did they go ahead with that today?
I think so. I saw tweets about it.
They are out of ideas, but that's the one thing, if they did right, made sense.
It would,
because you're
really
doing different from the movies. You are expanding the books because the movies left out so much shit, but you're going to get a very diverse cast.
Yeah.
Which is fine on certain levels. I mean, it was diverse in the books, but Ron Hermione look a certain way, and they're not gonna.
Yeah, they just tweeted 2 hours ago, your Hogwarts letter is here. Max, not HBO, has ordered the first ever Harry Potter scripted TV series, a faithful adaptation of iconic
okay to that. They must have backed up the Brinks truck to her because she will not do comic books. They've tried to do comic book adaptations forever. She won't do radio shows, which I think would have been the most logical choice after the movies, doing a radio show, which I can't believe George hasn't done with fucking A Song of Ice and Fire either. Like a fully casted drama, have BBC do it or something or well, don't have BBC do it anymore, but somebody. Yeah.
I would love if Adam Driver did a Snape prequel. I would have liked to see that story.
He'd probably be fine as Snape. I don't hate him. He was just terrible as Kylo Ren.
I never watched it, so I have no idea.
There you go. But Alan Rickman's Snape will never, ever be equaled.
No, absolutely not.
I'm open to it. And if they stick to the fucking book, even if they switch a couple of characters around, as long as they just stick to the book, I'm open to it. We'll see. I believe that'll happen about as much as I believe Kathleen Kennedy get fired tomorrow.
Rings of Power will be good.
Or Rings of Power season 2 will be good. But if they stick to the book, and they get the right actors that can act, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I mean, I don't think they'll fuck with the look of Harry Potter. I don't. And Ron Weasley is a redhead, so you know they're gonna make him. They're gonna be a black family.
Black guy.
You know it. They're gonna be a black family because they're all redheads, and it's said that multiple times in the book. So they can't pull this shit where like they weren't specific in the book. No, they are very specific in the book how the Weasleys look. More specific.
You always
than
know.
anything. You know what every Weasley looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You know they're gonna do that. I think it's time for me and Ryan to do our Harry Potter live stream. Ryan, you out there, buddy? I know you listen to every one of my live streams. I think we should do it this week. on this announcement. We'll talk. Where is the Horse and the Rider for $10? As much as I love Japanese movies, everyone is always talks about Ghibli, the phenomenal movies, but no one remembers American animated stories like Iron Giant. Makes me sad. Yeah, well, America made them great. They started the great animation. But we did not. We got lazy. We outsourced our animators, and then the outsourced animators decided to do better or make their own thing. I appreciate anime fans. They are very passionate people. I don't like all anime. I think some of it's fine. I've been shown some that's pretty cool because they have very good stories. That's the most and I don't like the super kiddie anime, loose animation. I don't like that with manga or anime. I like the more realistic version, which is way more Western. That's what I gravitate to. Like Parasite. That is very good animation. Parasite has rockin' animation. It's so good. Farron for £2 I can't say Socrates and beef oven. Just a B&T. Beethoven? Is that what it's supposed to be?
I don't know. He spelt it beef oven, so
beef oven. So great for beef oven. Michael Ermish for £10 In Germany, the local book company Thalia has manga sub-stores. The only thing Western comics to find are omnibuses and Who is Who books. It's dead here. Yeah. And it's sad. It's sad. And omnibuses here in America, they're filthy expensive. They're like $100 if you want to get the hardcover omnibus. I mean, they make some, like I got a Farscape omnibus for cheap at half price books, which is really awesome, by the way. John Thomas for $5. There's a couple of Doctor Who IDW softcover omnibuses that are pretty good from the IDW Doctor Who days, riding up to the 50th anniversary, were really good comics. My sister and her husband lived on a boat running charter in the Virgin Islands. One of those shows hired them to pretend that they were selling it. Oh, really? Oh, the shipping wars that Chris was talking about. Yeah, I hate that shit. You know, you can build up drama in editing without faking it. All right. So the little time I spent on a certain reality show, editing, doing ghost editing, I did a lot of ghost editing, tons. But you like, a good editor, I think, has a high tolerance for repetition. You can sit there and watch shit over and over again, which I can, which is, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I have a high tolerance for repetition. Like, I can be entertained by something again and again and again. So I with that reality show, I would just let the footage tell the story. And clever editing can build any drama with some good music. You don't need to fake shit. Now, like, this show was faking shit to the point where it wasn't as bad as others. They would just be, oh, I'm surprised you're at the door, but somehow the camera's in there. So how's the camera in there if you're surprised at the door? It's that kind of shit. It was more being coordinated, but this was the early days. Somewhat early days. But then it got outright scripted and they got busted for it. So Doom Guy for $5. Thank you for the donation. The Noonian for 10 British pounds. Psychopaths season 1 is fantastic. A view into the future of the social state. Don't watch season 2. Okay, I'll watch season 1. Kevin Willis on the Streamlabs side for $10. Don't know why I came over as 100 last time, but anyway, just one more to note. I'm looking forward to your next Lord of the Rings watch party. Probably not going to see it live, but looking forward to it. There you go. December 18th, I believe, is the date.
Oh, we have a date already.
Well, it's whatever date Return of the King came out. Hang on.
December 18th is a Monday.
King release date 17th. So it's a Sunday.
So a Sunday. Oh,
Sunday. So yeah, mark it on your calendars. Sunday, I will be doing a live stream, and the guys I'm inviting them publicly now, so they're now obligated. But these are the guys who came to the last one: Critical Drinker, Mahler, Robert Marburnett, Chris Gore. We'll get everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get everybody.
Killer panel.
Jacob Glazer for $2. A bunch of Marcy Darcy's have taken over Marvel and Star Wars. That is a brilliant description.
Darcy.
Devasty for $10. Do you guys watch the Uncharted X channel? Yes, I love Ben. Ben from Uncharted X has a great interview on the Concrete podcast. I haven't seen it. Concrete. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good podcast. I like Concrete. He did a great one with Randall too. Ben is the man. Love Ben. He does like fucking superb work on his videos. They are so well edited, well narrated. His writing is top notch. Yeah, I can't recommend that channel enough. It is a rabbit hole you will go down. And what he does is he goes to Egypt and he starts looking at stuff that not everybody looks at, and he picked this up from Graham, right? Who picked it up from someone else. And this is just, Schwaller Deluvish. And there's a tour that they take. That's the tour I want to take when I go there next year. But I cannot recommend Uncharted X, Bright Insight, Randall Carlson's channel, enough. The Brothers of the Serpent. These are great channels. The Y Files. Subscribe to them if you're into like really open-minded, intelligent, and like very not woo-woo channels that are getting into
thought provocative. Like
they're really, they try to take, as they're amateurs, but they try to take this really logical approach towards the ancient civilization mystery that I think is I don't think it's a mystery. I think there's just a bunch of old shit. There's evidence like scattered all over our planet that we're much older. The human race, civilized humans have been around a lot longer than what academia says. A degree means you are skilled in answering questions and regurgitating knowledge. I'll add those questions and answers do not need to be true for you to get a degree. Kyle Lovelace for $5. I absolutely agree.
That is factual. You're not smart in real life in terms of just real life stuff. Street smarts, as they call it. I should know. I was a university graduate.
You're smart. I mean, you can do math, spell. I mean, I
And
can't.
then
spell or do math.
that's academics, though,
I mean,
right?
like, if you want to go to school and spell and learn math and like apply,
Learn
it
how
to
to
something,
study and be
by all
organized.
means. But if you're into something even semi-social or philosophical, fucking just read some books. Go out and
Yeah.
live some life.
Or
Meet
go
some
to a
people.
trade.
Take
I
that
don't know.
money, all that fucking money you would put into a university and travel the earth for fucking 5 years.
I cannot, like, it's so expensive to go to school in the States. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. You could take 20 grand and circle the earth if you're smart about it.
Mhm.
You know,
In the whole year.
and
That's all you
meet
need.
people, and you will come back a different person. Like, you know, the first time I like traveled abroad, I came back like a different person because I was very curious. So like I went off the grid immediately. I didn't go on any planned tours. I'm like, I'm gonna go where I want to go. I want to go to the seedy parts. I want to talk to people. And yeah, you find out a lot. And that comes from like walking around Mexico when I was a kid. Like
Yeah.
completely fearless. Like I felt totally safe there. Like never in danger. You know, I knew that even if the cops took me in, you know, a phone call to my dad or $20 and get me out, you know. But yeah, can't do that shit anymore. Bearded physicist for $5. Don't forget, she's the alpha and the omega, the first and last female VP in Budweiser. Her deleted LinkedIn said females first.
Wait, she
What
deleted her
a piece of dope.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, she's gonna be fired. They just
Oh,
declare her
no.
public. She was young and dumb. She was young and fucking dumb and did a live stream and didn't think anybody would find out and watch. And honestly, what I heard was they just Bud Light just sent out gift packs to people, to influencers. And Dylan decided to just say, "Oh, I'm being sponsored," when they just sent him some beer. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. As far as I know, she could have actually recruited him, but that was the situation. Still a dumb move. Still just absolutely a dumb move.
Learn to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, you know, if they had, they're gonna have to come out and apologize.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that's so unfortunate. Actions speak louder than words, so unfortunately, she did not learn that. Dang.
We got a few more here, or more than a few.
More than a few, yeah.
More than a few. Here we go. Aurora Uplinks for $5. Beer commercial. You need to make more money and be successful with the ladies. Let's help. Buy some of our beer. Drink, study, work out, go out. That's a better beer commercial. This is the same company that did Real Men of Genius, which were some of the best commercials ever. All those antioxidants, people fear accidents, Aurora. Dad joke. Appreciate the effort, though. Logan Drake, 15 for $5. I feel you, Chris, on tickets. I had the same problem in Orlando, got lucky. Thank you for Robert and you guys for the heads up and all you do. Yeah, this IMAX screening is huge, and I hope people go and have fun. I hope they go and have fun. I really do.
I miss the days when you had to either call or go to the actual box office and line up and put the hard work in, not just wait online, like wait in line online and defeat bots.
Well, there used to be a time where we would walk up to the theater and not know what movie we want to see. We're like, you want to see this one or this one? You want to see that one or that one? You know, those are the good old days. Like, well, it's because like you had like 4 or 5 to choose from, and It's weird. We have more to choose from now, but it feels like we have less
Quality.
because we
Not
do.
there.
But like, I remember vividly, like walking out of Total Recall, like just mind blown. Walking out of Terminator, the first one, mind blown. Running Man, just like, all these Arnold, like Terminator was like the shit. I thought it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Then the Aliens sequel, which is much debated, but people forget at the time it was such they took a horror movie and made an action movie sequel. And it was such a, that's weird. They like took a real chance and so like it was a good time. It was a good time. Then we had these crazy comedies, these coming of age comedies. John Hughes was just fucking shitting them out. They were great.
Mm-hmm.
We were lucky.
I'm lucky I didn't watch it.
We also had to dial like on rotary fucking phones to contact each other.
You actually used a rotary?
Yeah. I mean, we had a dial, we had a push button too, but like there was no difference.
I had one as we went to the store, one of those resale stores, to buy one specifically because I wanted it because in the movies they had that. They're so cute.
We have a couple in the house. We have no phone line to put them to, but we have a couple in the house. Not applicable for $2. Accept good criticism to write better. Mean editing. Yep. Mean editing. Yeah. You got to be mean to yourself. Oh my God. That's why it takes me so long to record stuff. Cause I'll record something and I'll re-record it 5 or 6 times each clip. Because like I'll fumble. Sometimes I'll fumble a word or something like that, but then I'll think of something better to say and the delivery has to be right. So yeah, I put a lot of fucking time into that. And I kill my babies all the time. Killing babies. It's an editing term. Remember when Marvel suggested only skin folk should go watch Wakanda Forever? You mean black skin folk? I don't know if Marvel tried to convince you that you're fighting racism by going to see Black Panther. But I know a girl on TikTok was saying that white skin folks should not go the first week.
Oh yeah, and be outside the theater to protect the people in the theater.
In the theater. Protect them from what? From what?
And that was David Tulare for $5.50 Canadian. Thank you.
Thank you. Not applicable for $2. Dark Ages due to global cooling and food shortages. Well, the food shortages came after the global cooling. See, a colder globe is bad. A warmer globe is good. We got the Renaissance from the warmer climate. We got the medieval warming period. We've got that's when cathedrals were built during a warming period where it was warmer than it is now. What the climate clowns say, you just got to go balance the science. Go find out for yourself. But I would say take a look at the ice core samples from Greenland, which measure our climate back thousands and thousands of years. But you know what? Just look back 12,800 years. No, go 14,000 years. 14,000 years. And you'll see a little thing called the Younger Dryas. Explain that. And once you can explain that, then we can have a conversation about climate change. But by the way, it's always changing. Nobody's ever denied it's changing. It changes all the time, drastically. But does that mean you should litter? No. I'm fine with going back to glass bottles. Fuck plastic. I like glass bottles.
Honestly, with the littering, it's not even America that's the problem. It's countries like Asia. In Asia, I've seen them just walk to the river, just throw it in.
There are parts of Texas that are dirty, but there's parts of California that are fucking horribly dirty. New Mexico, where my mom lives and my sister lives, fucking dirty, man. Like there's trash everywhere. Trash everywhere. Not in Santa Fe though. Santa Fe is beautiful. Chris C for $5. Ghost is goth Bon Jovi. It's fantastic. Ghost is goth Bon Jovi. It's fantastic.
Is that music thing? Maybe
I don't know.
when we're talking about music.
Just the word fantastic being near Bon Jovi makes me. David Talari for $5.50. The same MCU people took Aunt Jemima off the syrup she created, but put a dude being a fake woman on a beer can. Is it the same company? That's funny. That's funny if it's the same company.
Oof.
Oh, and people were showing off like Japanese whiskey. I can't even say the title, but you can guess what the name is. It's like the N-word whiskey. Oh my. It wasn't the hard R N-word though. It wasn't the hard R. HBO is 51 years old. No, it's not.
Dang.
No, it's not. Really?
Actually?
Studio? It started in 1971. Wow, maybe it did. WB destroys another legacy. You are right. Not applicable for $5. Lots of anime and manga getting more woke to market American audiences, by the way. Thinking about starting a channel to call it out, push back at some. Do it. Do it. If nobody's calling out, then you will be the tip.
You'll be the first.
Yep. Pretty soon, comic writers will claim that they are beaten outside a subway by weebs wearing manga hats.
Oh my god!
For $4.99, David Talari, Daddy for $5.50. Pinochet's helicopter tours. Lifestyle brand equals lifestyle elites approved for sheep. Yep, David Talari. Recast Mando as Lizzo. Yes. Pirate Queen from David Talari for $5.50. Pirate Queen for $1.99. Are you planning to meet up in Asheville? Yes. We're going to do some kind of, like, it'll probably be very casual, but I'm not going to rent a place out, but we can go meet in a bar or something. Andrew Odetta for $1.99. WB confirmed Harry Potter remake and Hedge Knight for Max. Yes. I'll wait and see on those. I think the Hedge Knight, listen, they approached House of the Dragon pretty well. So it depends on who the showrunner is. It depends on who the showrunner is, but I very much like the Hedge Knight books. I very much like the comics. I think they're very good stories. Daryl the Derelict for $5. A stream in a stream is called Streamception. I've done it a few times. It's fun. David Talari for $2.20. Recast Peter Parker as Lizzo, Spider-Woman. She could be pregnant, Spider-Woman, and you could never know.
Oh,
pregnant or not. David Talari for $2.20. I sent 5 super chats. You want to read one? I did. I've read all 5. Joseph's Dots for $1.99. Gary, it's Girl Alexy far, far away. What did I say?
Girlixy, far away.
Girlixy.
Okay.
I can't read like normal words. You want me to read made up words correctly? That's an awful lot of me. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Kenny Justice for $5. Hail all. Gary, I would like to ask what day you guys will be at Houston. Something came up and I could only go for one day. I miss you all last year. I don't know. I'm guessing Saturday. Saturday will be the day I be there because Friday Night Tights is on Friday and Sunday is not as busy of a day as Saturday. So I'm going to guess Saturday because that's where I was. I was there last year on Saturday. Des for $5. If Kathleen Kennedy is ever fired, who would you recommend they hire to save it?
Ooh.
George Lucas at this point would be the only one. And I doubt he could. I don't think it can be saved. I don't. Who would I hire? George. It's his. But he would, I think he's too old and could give zero fucks about unfucking up this mess. WTF boy for $4.99. I'm a wrestling fan, and it's like Vince McMahon is running Star Wars now. LOL. Trying so hard to ruin something that's so simple to appease fans. Shake my head. Vince McMahon has gone insane. David Talari, bring on Frost and her opinion on the MCU. No. Well, I'd love to hear it. Pirate Queen for $4.99. Bruce Campbell is on tour right now doing a game show and showing a movie. Look up Bruce-orama. Yes. It's awesome. People should go. King Red 248 for $2. Steve dies at the end. Same type of movie as BBH. Oh, John. Why did I say Steve? John dies at the end. Same type of movie as BBH. Edward Morris for $5. Yo, Gary, there are 2 movies from different worlds in front of you. A great sequel trilogy and a great Game of Thrones season 8. Which one do you choose?
Oh, that's so hard to choose. I feel like I would choose a great Game of Thrones season 8 because there are great trilogies out there already.
Yeah, like I had my great trilogy with the original trilogy. I would go for, but like, yeah, no, I have to pick the right choice. The sequel trilogy, because Game of Thrones season 8 wasn't only ruined by season 8. It was ruined by parts of season 6, all of season 7, and all of season 8. So you would have to redo 6, 7,
6, 7, 8. Okay.
So I'll go with the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I never watched the sequel trilogy, so
choice was sequel trilogy and remake 6, 7, and 8. I would choose 6, 7, and 8 because we already had the original trilogy. We already had Star Wars. There was no need to go after Return of the Jedi for anything. Yeah. Unfortunately, we live in a world where they both suck. Isn't that great? Matthew Hammond, Stream outside for $5. Thank you so much for getting me back into Stargate series with you talking about it. It's so much fun. You don't forget the commentary tracks starting with the 3rd season. What are they not good? Or they don't start until the 3rd season. Okay. Marshmallow Knight. Love you, Matthew. Marshmallow Knight for $2. Larger Joker superpower figure is rad. Where did you get it? Oh, I got it. You mean, I'll get out of the way. That right there. That is Gentle Giants remake of the Superpowers Joker. And I got that at a wonderful store in Burbank called Blast from the Past. They have some there right now. I don't know if they have a Joker, but they have the Gentle Giant remakes of Star Wars figures, which I wouldn't buy because fuck Star Wars. But they have some Secret Wars figures where the packaging's not as good, but the Superpowers, chef's kiss. They're fucking perfect. So I have them all. I have the Flash. I have the Green Arrow. I have Wonder Woman. I have Batman and Robin. I have Superman. I have the Joker. And then they did one for animated series Joker, animated series Robin, and animated series Batman, which I have all 3 of as well. I have some of the Marvel stuff, but not all, which is Secret Wars. But they didn't do the packaging right because it's missing the shield and everything on the side. So it doesn't look the same. But the superpower shit, that does not look good. Yeah, the Superman one right there. That's like, so cool. Gentle Giant made him. They're right there, Superman. There's a Mezco 112 Dark Side on him too. Because I'm running out of room. Blast from the Past at Burbank. Place is amazing. Place is amazing. Okay, here we go. Alfie Frost. The trailer for The Penguin is out for £2 and it's Warner Brothers, so I can't show it. King Red 2485. Stop showing Gary Shonen. Target audience is teen boys. So many more genres. Gary would absolutely love the actual plots and characters and development. I know Shonen. I know what it is. Just it's not my thing. The Last Kingdom series comes to the end in 2 days with a film on Netflix, The 7 Kings Must Die. The series deserves more recognition, in my opinion. This is Lacquer Dread for $5. Thank you. Fat Steven, what's up? 220. How do you recycle Hollywood garbage films? You know, I've always said, if you're going to remake something that sucked. Do you know why Budweiser commercials became less fun? Anheuser-Busch was acquired by InBev, who decimated Midwest advertising firms whose main client was Anheuser-Busch and moved everything to New York City starting around 2015. Well, that'll explain it. And then why would you move to New York where things are more expensive? Why wouldn't you set up business like your Anheuser-Busch? Who gives a fuck? Set it up in Tulsa, you know? James Hannafin for $5. Where is the love for Superman and Lois? The show is absolutely amazing and gets no recognition. I like it. It's not bad. I'm behind, but it's not bad for CW, which is mostly garbage, but I'm also a big fan of Smallville. Andrew Matthews for $2. Thought Wars. That's good. Insert username is gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. Hail! Well, all right. And Aurora Uplinks for $10. Honestly, they didn't use Lizzo right. She is an outrageous entertainer. Have her be a Star Wars performer, alien or human, make action figures, and then sell it off for performance is outstanding. I hear she's talented. I hear she's musically talented. Okay. But she's always walking around fucking naked, and I don't want to see that shit. I don't give a fuck.
That recent post. Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's what she symbolizes. Like, you know what? Let your music do the talking. Like Aerosmith said, let the music do the talking. Okay. Come on. All right. We done. It's been amazing. You guys were crazy today. Lots of people watching. We had a great show with Chris Gore. This is a long nooner. So thank you. Thanks to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left super chat donation. X-Ray Girl, what you got coming up?
I have tonight Poor Choices with that Tug Life, and I'll share this one more time. Again, Millennium Fandom Bar, the Instagram, if you could give it a follow. They're almost at 8K followers. So
41 away.
You mathed. I'm so proud of you.
Don't get used to it.
So give it a follow. And yeah, I have merch on Flagrant Triggers. You can find over there and a bunch of stuff. So yeah. Thank you, Gary.
Don't forget, Meta PC sponsors this. And if you have the extra coin for an awesome computer, use code Nerdrotic for Meta PCs. They sponsor all of our live streams with no question. They don't care what Ryan says. That's how cool they are. They don't care that Gavin McGinnis tried to whip out his dick.
Well, he did. Just wasn't seen very well.
It wasn't seen very well because it was so tiny. I get it, LOL. I was picturing her in Jabba's court. Yes. Yeah. Like, lean into it. That'd have been funny.
Yeah.
No. Like, you can't make fun of the Star Wars Christmas special now. You just can't. Like, it's a joke. And like, if you enjoyed today's episode, that's fine. I don't care. I did not. I thought it was more of the same. I just don't think it was as bad as the last episode, but it was still bad. And it's the penultimate episode of your fracking series. You know what? Just wait for Picard. I'm sure there'll be something coming up that'll be exciting. I mean, it's a penultimate episode, right? You wouldn't waste time with a penultimate episode unless you're Disney Star Wars. But I guess you'll just have to find out at 3:00 in the morning Central, because nobody knows how to drop their. That's another thing HBO has an advantage on. They put their shit out like at a normal hour. Well, it's not HBO anymore. So what the fuck do I know? Okay. I have a Marvel's trailer reaction video coming out, edited by Perry Chan. Then I have no idea. Because I'm going to watch Lord of the Rings for the next 2 days.
I'm so jealous.
Yes. So, but yeah, I'm going to do a member stream tomorrow. I just don't know what time. I'll keep you posted in the community section. Okay. Because I got to call my dentist like right now before they close. I just watched Clone Wars episode, and if Mandalorian could be half as good, I would be happy. And it can't be. Watch the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. They're better. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time. Friday Night Tights with Mahler. It'll be a fun one. Ciao.
Bye.